Welcome to the People's Guild.
Each week we explore the Splinterland universe with guests from all across the mythical land of Praetoria.
Join us on our journey as we discuss the evolution of the game, the strategy, the lore, and the exciting path that lies ahead.
To support the People's Guild, make sure you subscribe, rate, and review wherever you get your podcasts, and also check us out on PeakD, YouTube, and Twitter.
To send your questions, suggestions, and epic battles in our comments through Twitter or email at thepeoplesguildspl@gmail.com. We'll feature the best in our episodes and maybe airdrop you some prizes. Thanks for tuning in and enjoy the show.
Welcome back to the People's Guild. Another week, another episode. We welcome our good buddy Dave McCoy back for, at this point, seems like a pretty regular monthly appearance, Dave. In between town halls. Works out this week. We got you, I guess, same week at town hall, but lots to talk about. Lots of big wins recently. Lots of big stuff cooking in the kitchen at the moment. How you feeling, Dave? Welcome back, dude.
Thanks. Happy to be here. This is my favorite show, man. Everybody listens to this show.
Well, Dave, you sure have turned the tide on that one, dude.
It's a big difference from nobody listens, so I'm comfortable talking to everybody listens.
Yeah, now I know. Now I know how to speak. I in the beginning insulted you. I never can live that one down. So
no, it wasn't an insult. That was kind of true.
It was fact.
At the time.
It was true.
Truth at the time.
No, actually, it wasn't true. To be quite honest, I was just trying to be funny, but I wasn't funny. So it's cool. You guys rock, man. Everybody listens to the People's Guild. In fact, there was a clip I saw where AZ talked about how even the Cabal like had shows about the People's Guild. Did you see that, Jay?
I saw that.
Dude, I heard about that. Mr. TikTok has been churning out some fantastic content lately.
Yeah, he was talking about the People's Guild. Very important. Very important.
Where the Cabal meets.
It was something like that, yeah. Well, shit, Dave, let's kick it off with, everybody is chirping right now. Frontier mode is buzzing. We just had our first round of raffle ticket giveaways yesterday. A whole bunch of folks won a whole bunch of different arcanes and black foils, and I've yet to check the market to see what prices are and if people are even selling these things, but I have seen a lot of folks say, pretty much lean very clearly and openly into the collector side of things and say, even if I pull one, I'm never selling it. So I gotta feel like across the board, you have to be, putting a little bit of a feather in your cap with the immediate success and impact of Frontier mode. How are you feeling, kind of reflecting on the first couple of weeks? And, numbers aside, let's just talk about sentiment first, and then we can dive into, kind of more of the meat and potatoes of the numbers and stuff like that. But yeah, let's start with sentiment, man.
Well, the community's blown me away. I knew, or take that back. I had a hunch that it was going to be pretty good because I was here in the beginning and we gave out cards, right? When I first joined, that's why I played, because I played to get cards. So, I would go in every day and, we call it grind now. I didn't even know what it was at the time. I just played. I got these packs and ended up with cards, and I was like, cool, look at these cards. And then I wanted more, and then there was a market and I could buy them at a nickel and blah blah blah. And I started my collection, and been here ever since. So I had a hunch what it was going to feel like earning the cards, but I had no idea that the community was going to be as supportive and as excited about it. Like guys like Quantum Nachos, for instance, who I think is one of your show guests in the past. I mean, he hasn't played the game in 4 years, he said not once. I mean, he literally shows up every week to the Team Possible weekly get together, and talks about the game and the different aspects of the game, and he has land, so he focuses on land, but he hasn't played the game part of it for 4 years. And he just like he's constantly messaging me talking about how awesome it is and how this reminds him of the early days. And he's just motivated, right? And I hear that from guys like that had stopped playing and are now coming back. And then guys like Jeff opens cards, he's like, just somebody said he took off a couple days of work, and just
he had all of his slaves playing his accounts, all his alts. He had like 12 alts going on.
Yeah, I've seen his card store. So you're talking about all those little kids that come there and play, like he had them all working.
Yeah, like that photo he showed us. It was all
he put in Team Possible.
Those are slaves.
Everybody act natural. Act natural.
Act natural. You're having fun.
So yeah, I mean, and it's good, the key is that these cards it's a brand new set. It's self-contained, meaning you can't play anything other than the foundation cards in Frontier mode, and people are enjoying it. The cards aren't as good as the other cards. They're in some ways, you get repetitive matches and things of that nature, but the competition and the thrill of getting to that 5 matches, works. And then there's people like, hey, I want to get higher. I want to get there quicker. Like people, I think Jangles, you mentioned that you put in like $10 to buy a few key cards to get you, a little higher, a little faster. Right. And that's kind of how it used to be. Right. So, I was unsure. I figured we would get here. I just didn't think we'd get here this fast. So, my goal was to have more players by the end of the year in this mode than the other modes combined. And that was like my behind the scenes goal. Like you could ask Blaze and people like that. Like I'm like, Blaze, we're going to end up with more players in this mode than all our other modes combined by the end of the year. And it happened in 2 weeks. So, I was blown away at the excitement, that people have it. And then, well, let me stop there. So I'm going to try not to ramble. I'm going to see if I can break that habit. So I'm going to let you guys.
That's what we're here for, is to listen to you
picked
ramble.
a hell of a time to break that habit, Dave.
Well, we don't want to hear Jangles ramble.
Well, we're going to listen here. We're going to listen to Quantum Nacho's ramble. I found his comment here, and I do want to share it since you brought it up, Dave. So shared a couple of days ago at this point, and Nachos dropped it in Tavern, so very public spot to share this sentiment. It's not like it was behind closed doors or anything. So kind of hard to explain the joy I've had since starting campaign foundation mode. It's tough but fair, rewarding but slow burn to reward use cases. And all the while not spending a dime yet. It's honestly just what I think SPL needed to hook people in while also not holding their hand so much that they feel like it's so easy and not realizing it actually gets more strategic and harder the deeper you go. And this is coming from someone that's been a part of Splinterlands for nearly 7 years already. And I think I envy the gift that is the current and future new player experience that players will have from now on. Nice work to Dave and team. Can't wait for what else comes next for MPE in the future. That's quite a nod from Nachos.
Yeah, it really is.
Was that a GIF? Was that in GIF form?
No.
Yeah, it was like I just read like 30 scrolls at the mouse of GIFs.
Yeah, no, Nacho, and the interesting thing about Nachos is like he means it. He wouldn't say that otherwise. I mean, he's told me many times, like we've tried to get him. He's in my guild. So, there's been many times they're like, hey, why don't you brawl? You can earn some SBS. And then like he would stubbornly say, no, it's, not for me. It's, like he just stuck to land. But
land and GLS. I think he went big on GLS.
Yeah. But now he's like, he gets it, and I think a lot of people do. And even the people that are salty, like, there are some people that are complaining that everybody's having so much fun over Frontier, and I get it, right? Like, if you're not playing the mode, you're like, well, I'm not playing the mode. I'm not getting those free cards. And I hear all these people talking about the free cards, and I paid for my cards. Like, this sucks. Like, blah, blah, blah. Right. So I understand that. And, I guess the thing I would like to tell everybody is like, obviously, we can see that too, right? Like, we understand, like, everybody's excited because they can play and they can win something and they can sell that or collect that or trade that, right? And that's a good thing, right? And if we find things that are good things in frontier mode, we're probably gonna like look to augment the other modes. Like, the goal is not to make uh the premium mode bad and the free mode good. The goal is to make everything great, right? Starting with frontier mode, make that great, find all the things that are great about it, and then take them and make them greater, right? In the premium mode. So that's how I look at it. So I love when people are like, hey, can we possibly add some tradable cards, into, the rank play system, whether it be modern, whether it be wild. And the answer is like, yes, I've been waiting for that. Right? Like, in other words, like, it's not a punishment that we created a mode that a lot of people want to play. That's a plus, right? That's a good thing. Everybody should be happy. Whether you play it or whether you don't, you should be happy about it, because if people come in and they want to play our game, right now, all of a sudden they're part of our ecosystem, and now, they're potential customers, for our next pack set sale, or to buy SPS, or to buy land, right? Like, everything feeds on itself. So I look at this as really good, and I think, I think we're in a good spot. One thing I'll say, and then I'm going to stop and let you guys like come back in, so I don't ramble too much. But one thing I'll say is it is really good. The mentality has been fantastic. There have been some people that have pointed out, like, we do have a lot of people that have come back, and a lot of people that are playing more than one account. And to that, I like say absolutely true, right? Like, Nachos came back and started playing the game, so he knew about it, right? And he came back and started playing it, and we've seen a lot of other people do the same, right? Like, I get the messages, but they try to draw the conclusion that means, well, it's not really real, right? Like, we don't really have new players, and that's where I draw the line. Like, yes, we do have new players.
Yeah, we
like,
do. Hell yeah. Those are real players playing the game.
Yeah, I mean, I look at numbers, and I see number of people coming in every single day that are joining, signing up, establishing an account, and then I see how many.
What we got? What do we got? Like 50 people playing? How many people playing Frontier mode? Like 50?
No, we had 4,000, over 4,000.
Whoa, bam.
Yeah.
Bam.
Yeah. So, that's a big deal, right? Like, more than all the other modes put together, right? Within 2 weeks. So that's a big deal. And we are having new players, people coming in. We see them coming in. We actually watch what happens to them, like how many people come in and they play the campaign mode, right? And how many start chapter 1, and then how many go to chapter 2, and then how many go to the 3rd chapter and the 4th chapter, all throughout the whole thing. And we can see where they drop off, like, how many make it all the way through, right? And right now we're running roughly 20 to 25% in terms of conversion rate, meaning once they sign up for an account, 20 to 25% are making it through to the point where they play one match. And then we got, a measurement, for instance, when they hit the 5 matches, right? So the reason why these statistics make a difference is because, if they were just all alts, right, or just all like guys like Quantum Nacho coming back, well, it would be like 100%, right? Like, nobody would be falling off if they're here to go play, frontier mode. Then, the campaign just is like an obstacle that they'll get through. But that's not what we're seeing. We're seeing, a couple hundred people a day coming into our game, right? And out of that, it's like what you would normally expect. Like, some people look at the video and they say, great video. And some people look at the video and they're like, too boring, right? And then some of them go from the first part of the video, then they go to the second part, then they, have the same experience. Then they have to play a battle, and we lose some people there, and blah blah blah. Like all the way through, like so no game is going to be 100% appeal. No game is going to appeal to 100% of the people, right? So obviously, we're not going to get 100% of the people that are going to love our game, but you know, having 20-25% is good, right? That are making it at least to the, to the play part. And then as they're playing the game, then we measure and see how long they stayed, how many did they play, whether they bought a spell book or not, whether they bought other assets or not. Like all those things are now, being tracked, being monitored. And it really is exciting because I know there was a lot of people that were saying things like when marketing and, they're never going to market. Like people were trying to twist, things that, like I was saying, months ago, like, he's just never going to market. Like, no, honestly, I want new players. And the only way you get new players is you have to get marketing, right? You have to go out and find people to come play the game. If you just talk to the same group of people all the time, it's really hard to grow. I mean, you may get a referral here or there, but that's about it. You have to go out and get brand new people that have never heard your game and figure out how to get them there. But before you do that, you have to have a game that people want to play. And to me, no better endorsement than having guys like Quantum Notches who knows about the game, knows about it in and out, and is now playing the game and like raving about it. And he's been here for 7 years and he's doing that. Or Jeff's Opens Park, who has hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of cards and he's playing the free mode.
Like I thought you were going to say hundreds and hundreds of slaves playing his modes. There you go. So, that's where I thought you were going.
All right. Well, I'm glad you interrupted me because that's good, Jimmy. That's Dave not talking too long at one thing. So
no, it's good. You're throwing some points and some, backing it up with some data, raw data. That's what we like to see. You're looking at the numbers. You're looking behind the scenes. You're stalking people on blockchain and seeing who's doing what, man. It's awesome.
Yeah. And we got, we have a lot of different things that we're working on, but the key to everything was we wanted to have a good conversion rate and a good retention rate. So both of those are metrics that we can now see clearly. And they're also things that are much improved with this new mode. So I'm pretty confident. I guess I'll put it that way.
I want to get into this kind of laying us up to have something to market, but before we get there, I was listening to Dwayne ran a little bit of a shout out to Infidel, ran a little bit of a live stream few hours ago and was reading some comments from the chat, and I was able to catch a little bit of it as I was getting ready for this episode, and there was one of our listeners, he's a frequent commenter, Ivan, dropped a comment on Infidel's chat that he has acquired north of 13,000 SPS through his, strategy of playing Frontier and selling cards and playing Frontier and, flipping cards. But in just a couple of weeks, 13,000, I mean, I was trying to recall when I first started playing the game, it was a couple of years ago and I was buying Chaos Legion, competing silver, gold for a really long time and, just kind of slowly trying to level stuff up. And, SPS for a long time just kind of was a little bit of a back burner acquisition for me. Like it was always cards first and then SPS would come as it came sort of thing. It was never something that I really prioritized until, I was kind of forced to prioritize it. But I want to say it took me a good 6 months to pass 10,000 SPS. Granted, prices were very different at that point in time, and we were probably somewhere in that 7 to 15 cent range. So it's not apples to apples, but 13,000 SPS in just a couple of weeks. This feels like
it's amazing.
It's amazing, and it's like the underlying goal being this is our tool to acquire new players. If let's assume that we're always just like the other versions of the game, Modern and Wild, we're always influxing new cards in, new card sets. Maybe there's, I'm sure you guys have discussed what does it look like to inject the new cards into Frontier mode, and however you go about that, assuming that that pipeline is constantly full and we have a funnel for folks, which is Frontier mode, the demand is going to be there. Therefore, the cards are going to be moved. Therefore, there's a very natural transition that's kind of laid out for folks to, kind of set that goal of, okay, I'm slowly going to start stacking some SPS. These cards allow me to play at a a somewhat lower level in modern or wild or whatever. Yeah, it's just like that has been the most amazing thing for me to see is pure and simple the demand of these cards on the secondary market. And sure, it's early days. We've seen it time and time again. Cards drop at very high prices, and over time that price declines. But I part of me is kind of holding my breath. I wonder if Frontier is actually going to be different because it is free to play. And I don't suspect that you guys would, at least in the very short to medium term, plan to replace this set of Frontier cards. So what have you, if anything, Dave, have you found surprising about, whether it's card prices or the amount of interaction and market movement that's going on with Frontier cards? I've got the black foil and arcane market pulled up here on my other screen. Let's pull this up real quick. You guys take a look. Some of these prices are a little crazy. I mean, $78, $98, that's pretty reasonable, but then there's $1,000, $139, $250. I mean, it's all speculation until somebody buys it, but it's fascinating to watch. It's fun to see. It's encouraging to see that, there was $8,400 sold. I think this is specific to the foundation market in the last 24 hours.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but
it's been blowing my mind too. Just the prices of the cards that, free to play mode, you're not earning anything except cards, right? The cards and tokens
and chances for more cards. Yeah.
Yeah. And so this is something we've always been talking about. We meaning Splinterlands, that let markets market, let them do their thing. This is completely like, you're not selling this. So it's not like, oh, you sell it and then here's a floor and it's got to be here. This is literally people earning free cards, and here's what the market is telling you what they will.
There's a demand for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. And I think that number one, the banana, did you just say banana?
What's that banana? I keep trying to see that guy. Yeah. What's that giant banana he's holding? The Grand Console minion.
Yeah,
he's hooking bananas at you, dude.
It's a banana, right? Is that?
That's definitely a banana.
Wow. Okay, I did not even notice that. Wow.
Chocolate babies.
That's right.
There it is.
Bam. Bam.
Bam.
Yeah, when you get hit with a banana, it's a bam.
Bam.
Yeah, I'm blown away by the prices too. I honestly didn't think that. I thought it would be good. So, I will say that. But I did not think that people would pay up to get there faster, which is what's happened, right? So, contrary to popular beliefs, these cards are like massively minted. Like when we did them, the worry from Matt was like, it's going to take people a long time, to get a set because we're not, giving out that many, right? Like, compared to like the old days and stuff like that. But then with campaign mode and those free cards that people were getting, then they were dumping those, and so their print rates were a lot higher than the other ones. And so we fixed a couple of those exploits. But make a long story short, yeah, over time there's going to be, the value is going to drop, because the need to get to the top will be satiated. Right. So like Django's, you went out and bought $10 worth of cards to get yourself higher faster, right? And there's other people that are doing that, and that makes sense, right? Because if you're in bronze like me and you're getting 2 cards every time you win 5 battles, right? Like if you get up to gold, you're getting 5 cards, right? So you get 2.5 times more. Is that worth $10? Obviously, in your case, it was worth spending $10 to get there, right? And other people are making those same kind of calculations. And that's part of the game too, right? And then, like some people are like, okay, that's fine. Once I get there, then I get these, then the prices are going to go down. And yeah, that's typically what will happen if you keep making more of them, which we are, right? We are going to continue to make more of them. But the thing that is slightly different that, it's going to take a little bit of, foresight, right, is to understand that, that's the regular foil and the gold foil. The black foil and the black foil arcane and the gold foil arcane, those are limited, right? Like those are set. So, they're all have been pre-minted. They've all been thrown into a bucket. They're all we have a schedule and when they're going to come out, and like every week, 76 prizes for 2 years and then they're done, right? So, if there's 10 black foil epics, arcanes, for instance, or 5 of the black foil arcanes, then there's only 5, right? So as a collector, that's kind of a big deal, right? Like maybe as a player, you're like, why do I really care? This card's like a lesser card. I'm a champion player over in modern or wild, right? I'm a tourney player. I'm never really going to play that card, or it's not that big a deal. But as a collector, I mean, these are still Splinterland cards, and guys like Gold Matters, they understand it, right? Like there's 5 of these Black Foil Arcane epics, for instance, of whatever epic you're talking about, like that, the Sorrow Harvester, right? There's only 5 of those Black Foil Arcanes. That's it, right? So if you get one of them, you got one of 5, right? So I was like thinking to myself, maybe that's a $50 card or a $70 card. Like that was my thinking, right? So I have money in my account. So like I was thinking, all right, some people are going to like earn these and dump them onto the market. And, I as a collector, am going to be happy to buy them cheap. I had no idea that they were going to be like, considered to be, like, I didn't think people would get it as fast as they did, but I think that's happening. So I do think prices are going to come down. I think the collectible parts, the ones that are limited, I think they will do pretty well over time because they still are Splinterlands cards. So to me, that's the treasure that we've had, all along, from the very first day when I bought packs of cards with just pictures on them, that's the way I've always viewed it. I've always thought like, these are cards, these are, there's only so many of them. This is a blockchain game. You can, see whether they're burned or not burned or combined or, whatever the case may be. And there's a limited print run on every single card. And when I said limited, it just means not unlimited. And then, so you get a point where, some are short printed, some are not. And that's kind of what card collectors care about. So these ones that are, 5 only, or even 100, right? I mean, 100's not many when you have 4,000 people playing. Can you imagine what it's going to be if we have 400,000 people playing? Now all of a sudden, those 100 are going to be, like really tough to get. So anyway, yeah, I'm pretty excited. And I said I wasn't going to ramble, but I did. So sorry.
Got to play Rambling Man. Oh, my Lord, I was born a rambling man. Yeah. Gonna talk about the good old Splinterlands. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just generally super excited about this thing, and I think folks are starting to come around to, it seemed like there was some initial confusion on what is Foundation mode, Frontier mode meant to offer to the community, and what is its general purpose in, kind of the greater realm of Splinterlands. And we're starting to really see that picture kind of come in and take shape. And, you're talking about things like if we see success in, certain aspects or certain elements of frontier mode, yeah, why wouldn't we want to incorporate those into, other aspects of the game like brawls or tournaments or modern or wild or, you name it. And this goes back to, kind of like the sandbox perspective of we're really seeing how this stuff pans out. Where are people responding positively to? What do the folks want to see from frontier mode incorporated into these other elements of the game and moving forward? And I think, yeah, it's super exciting. It couldn't have come at a better time. I mean, argument could probably be made that, maybe frontier mode would have been better suited prior to Conclave Arcana. So we had, that kind of full wham bam funnel ready to go. But Conclave Arcana is still on shelves and conflicts just got started. So it's as good a time as any. Maybe there was one alternative that could have been better, but we're here and we're moving forward. It's been a really big 6 months to get to this point. And seeing the guys, I keep going back to that comment from guys like Nachos, and he's not alone. There's the number of folks that I've seen getting engaged in frontier mode and heaping praise, and whether it's card collectors or shard holders or tavern or Team Possible, Dave, everybody is tipping the cap to the delivery and early success of frontier mode, and I think ultimately it just speaks to the overall potential of this thing. And we were talking about it last week with Keegs. I don't know if you've had a chance to listen to that episode yet, Dave, but in my mind, frontier mode serves as this is the tool that gets us in front of non-crypto savvy, non-crypto adjacent folks, and we're able to say, yo, here is a digital TCG you can earn as you play. It's completely free to enter. By the way, there's also a really cool, pay to play version. And this, this kind of, brings it full circle to a couple of comments that we alluded to earlier with respect to, when marketing. Oh, we're never going to market. Well, now, I hope folks are starting to be able to put that picture together in terms of, this is what we were waiting for. You know what I mean? And how I'd love to hear you kind of expand on that a little bit, Dave. I know you've continued to kind of field those questions of when marketing and, you've addressed some of the retention rate stuff. And let's get down to the nitty gritty and talk about how does this serve as an appropriate and timely and suitable runway to set us up for a successful marketing campaign versus just throwing dollars at, Google ads or whatever an alternative is.
Well, I mean, it comes to like a good marketing campaign will pay for itself. So it's kind of like a machine. You put money in one side and, it works its way through, and then it comes out with a certain number of players that you expect to spend money in the game, and therefore your return off them covers the cost of what the money you put into the machine in the beginning. So, the goal was like, you just don't want to like take our money, throw it out there, cross your fingers and hope like, ooh, I hope it works, because what do you have left if it doesn't? You have nothing, right? You have nothing left. You just spent all their money, right? So the goal is to make it so that when you put your money in, you have a relatively reasonable chance of success, right? And so that's why making sure we measured and monitored all this is important, right? And so when everybody was like, they're not going to do it. Like, of course we're going to do it. Like, how else are we going to get new players? Like, I don't think there's a person out there that is as bullish as me when it comes to number of new players. Like, I honestly think hundreds of thousands of people is quite possible. And I don't think anybody's prepared for that, right? Like, I think they think like we're this little, group of people. We kind of got a cool little community, which we do. But, nobody's ever really going to take us seriously, right? Like, we've been around 7 years. we've learned a lot of things that are going to put a lot of people out of business because they don't know, right? Like we made mistakes. We've learned from those mistakes. We've got a hell of a lot of cool infrastructure. We've got a great team. We've got a great community. And we had things that we needed to fix to kind of like tweak that. And now all of a sudden we have a situation where people can come in and play the game. And then there was a point where prior to Frontier Mode, people come in and they would play the game and it would be like, okay, I put $20 in or I put $50 in. Am I happy? And the answer was no, right? Like, oh, okay. So I go out and I buy whatever, 10 packs, spend $40. Am I happy that I did? And the answer would have been no, because go try to buy 10 packs and see how high you get, see how hard it is, right? It was not easy. Well, now we flip that. So now a guy comes in, he puts nothing in, and he starts like, he gets excited. He likes the game. He learns about it. Then all of a sudden he's like, oh, you mean there's even more strategy, deeper content, even more complex cards? Yeah, there is. Oh, what is that? Oh, that's modern format. How can I play that? Oh, you can take the same cards after you battled 100 times. You can go over in the modern format, use the exact same cards, and go compete over there, right? And then, oh, by the way, you want to spend $5 and buy a couple legends, knock yourself out, right? You want to buy a couple archons that are a little better than the one you have? Go ahead, go for it. Now all of a sudden you put 10 or 20 or $50 into it, and now you're getting a return off of that, right? Because now you're able to compete. You don't have essentially just whatever 10 random packs of cards would give you for that $40. Now you actually have a deck that you built that's yours, right? And to me, that's very powerful, right? And like I said, the fact that people are coming back, the fact that guys are willing to set up new alts to play and play more, it tells me that the game is what it should be. It's fun, it's rewarding, right? It's something that is worthy of their time and their energy to do, right? And no matter what you're motivated by, whether it's to get to the top, whether it's to earn the cards to sell them back, whether it's to earn the cards to keep, whether it's to earn the cards to sell to buy SPS, like whatever that objective is, you're now in the game, right? And to me, that's the hook. And we've just created that hook. Now it's a matter of amplifying that message and getting more people to be involved, which now I'm happy to do, right? Because now a guy coming in, we're going to have a damn good chance of that guy getting hooked. Why? Because we already know we got a good game. I'm going to say one more thing at the risk of rambling too much. I think people don't really understand, and this may be Gold Matters, we'll highlight because this is a pretty big deal. So I don't think people really give the respect to Splinterlands that it really deserves. When you think about how much money people put into our game, they put that money into the game because they have confidence in the big picture, right? Where we're going, what we're capable of, things like that, how fun the game is. People that spend $100,000, $80,000, $60,000, $50,000, I mean, there's plenty of them that spend that amount of money for just a set that comes out. And the reason they do that is because they have confidence in a belief in the big picture, right? Now it's just a matter of getting people so we've got the big guys, we've got the premium, aspect down. We're like the high end Rolls Royce, for instance, of the cars. Now we got to get some, mass production, right? And that's the guys with $10 and $20 and $50 that want to work their way up to $200 and $500, and then those guys want to work their way to $1,000 and $2,000, and then every once in a while you run across a Brave Tofu or a Vuctus or Gold Matters, or a Jangles, and even possibly a Jimmy, and then from there,
no chance.
That's how that grows, right? So
no one wants that.
Yeah. Well, there's only one Jimmy, only one fat Jimmy.
Well, you're Jimmy. Actually, there's thousands of Jimmys.
We're all Jimmy.
True. That is true.
We're all
Yes.
Jimmy.
So
Yeah.
so I mean, it's pretty exciting because I honestly don't think that anybody looks forward enough to understand like just how fast 4,000 can go to 40,000. And this game looks completely different with 40,000 people,
Oh
playing it
yeah.
on a daily basis.
Or we have an explosion button that we need to just fill in some.
Bam.
Bam! I
Bam.
forgot.
That's
I
the
forgot I was
explosion
going
button.
to say. Yeah. Bam.
Or just
I mean,
mutter chocolate babies.
yeah, you guys were here in the early days. I've heard a few folks, obviously I came in a few years later than you guys, and the game had already massively changed over that few year period. But a lot of the older guys that are coming in and re-engaging with Frontier mode are, really praising, it feels like the alpha days. It feels like the early days. Is that y'all's sentiment as well? I know both of you guys have dabbled. Dave, I know you are competing for raffle tickets. Jimmy, I know you are a little bit more stretched for time and haven't had too much play time with Frontier mode. But from what you guys have experienced thus far, is it very reminiscent of the early alpha? Like basic. I don't want to say simple. It's more
Basic mode.
straightforward. It's basic mode. It is more straightforward than what you see at the top of modern, for example. But it's purely strategy. And so what is y'all's take on that? And is that what you guys are feeling? Is it making you excited from that perspective of it's just a fun auto battler trading card game that it's a couple quick hits of dopamine and you're on your way?
We'll let Jimmy go first.
Well, all right. I wasn't here in the alpha days. I came in the middle of Untamed, like the first third of Untamed, I believe. But the point at the time was the game was fun. You had your daily quest. You win 5 battles using a certain element, and that got you your rewards. I like how we have the 3-tier daily rewards again, because that encourages people to keep playing. You win your 5 battles, earn your card and your token, win another 5, blah, blah, that keep that going. That's reminiscent. That kind of brings back that motivation to play. It's a lot more fun, again, because it's not the cost. I've been saying this for years. I honestly believe the cost barrier to our premium mode is incredibly inhibitive. And this eliminates that, and it kind of highlights the fact that it's a fun game and give people the opportunity to just have fun. They're going to do it, and they're going to love it. This really brings back my belief in the fact that the whole Magic the Gathering demographic is just waiting to discover Splinterlands. I really believe that. I think at least 50% of the Magic the Gathering people would actually love playing Splinterlands. And this kind of just reaffirms that for me.
Yeah, I would say that there's a lot of ways to play Splinterlands, from the daily grind to strategic. I'm going to buy these cards now, and then I'm going to sell them later, and
and let's not forget trolling Discord is a great way to play Splinterlands too.
Yeah, that's true.
That's been a thing for years.
That's my favorite. I really enjoy that. But
that's all of our pastimes. Come on now.
Yeah. No, it's like I gotta admit, the 5, winning 5, bringing that back is probably the thing I like the best, because I'm like very I don't want to say the word because it's probably not gonna, it could be clipped in the wrong way, but when I start something, I want to finish it. I'll put it that way. So if I win 2 matches, if I start and win 2 matches, you can bet I'm going to win 3 more, because I want to get that prize. So even if that prize is 2 cents, and my time is, worth a hell of a lot more than that, that's just how I am, right? Like once I start, once I win, even one match. I just don't like letting that one match sit there and not earn anything. So I'm going to at least go win the other four.
I
That's
did
just,
that the other day. I
yeah,
played three. I played three. I was like, oh, let me come back. I have like 2 hours to get that last three in, or the last two. And then something happened, and then I lost it, and I was super bummed.
yeah.
It was like,
All over
oh,
like a couple pennies, right? Like, so,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know how much you make, Jimmy, but I'm sure it's more than two pennies, you know, an hour. So,
At
but
my
it's,
at my real job,
yeah, that's what I'm
it's a
saying.
little bit, not much, but a little bit more than 2 pennies an hour. Yes.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but that's the 5 wins. That's a pretty big draw. And the other thing is the raffle concept. Like we had, I forget the number, but it was over 30,000 entries. And somebody's like, well, I'm never going to win. Right. And yeah, okay. Well, when there's 30,000, like I think I had 9 entries. So, I didn't win with 9 entries, but there were people that won with 2 entries and 3 entries. Right. Like that's what's cool about it. There's 76 prizes each and every week. And it's like one of those things where nobody has like an edge, right? Like nobody has like 17,000 of the raffle tickets, and there's like 50% chance they're going to win one of them, right? Like like the most I think I saw in there was like 60 and 65, something like that. And then there was people that had one, and then there was a whole bunch of people in between. And when there's 30,000 prizes, whether you have 9 tickets, whether you have 18 tickets, they just, you still need luck to win, right? But that's kind of the fun of it. And guys like Captain Dingus won, one of the black foils. I was really happy to see that, and I just like
No
watching,
way. Nice.
yeah, yeah,
That's
Dingus,
awesome.
yeah, he won one, and
He
there's,
should
I
get
think,
that black foil tattooed on his full back.
yeah. But it's like things like that. Like they come in and then they like, hey, look at what I want, right? And yeah, some people are going to sell it, which is fine. And then if they turn around and they buy more cards, great. If they turn around and buy more SPS, great. It's like the money, it starts moving in the system. So I'm pretty stoked. And as far as the gameplay goes, Jangles, you're like a professional as far as I'm concerned. Like like you're one of our testers that we go to. So you're head and shoulders above everybody else. But the fact that you even play the mode is a testament too, right? Like, why would you bother even playing if it was so simplified, which it is, right? And so obviously there's got to be some core gameplay mechanics in there that are things that are natural to our game that I believe people will be intuitive, or at least to a certain percentage of the people. Do you play it, Jangles?
I'm playing as we speak. I got some matches queued up. We got
Ooh.
it's a little bit more of a passive thing. It doesn't require the same level of, I think, focus and attention. There's a smaller card pool. There's less opportunity
Spam death.
for that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm queuing it up.
Spam death. Because it's got that
But
void tank there. Bam.
yeah, the Nimgard cat. That's one of the cards I spent some of that $10 on, was getting that boy leveled up. But I look at guys like Rogue and Mondroid, and I'm a decent player. Those guys are pros. Like, I listen to the way that those guys think about the game and think about the strategy, and they're calculating what is the appropriate counter. Okay, what is going to be my defense against this they think about things on a whole nother echelon from the very average player, and this is what they are really hitching their wagons to at the moment. Like Rogue has, I don't know if he's mentioned to you, Dave, but they ran a show on Sunday night gospel. Go check it out on Twitch. Good group of guys. I think it's 8:30 p.m. Eastern every Sunday. And they were both talking about Frontier mode kind of being exactly what they've always hoped they could find and stay within Splinterlands. And that sort of stuff is just an absolute glowing testimony to what you guys have put together here. And we were talking about it a little bit last week, and yeah, maybe the cards are underpowered, they're overpriced. It's not perfect, but and there is some room for fine tuning. I don't think anybody's going to argue that. But the the bread and butter of this thing it is fun, it is strategy, and it removes a lot of the luck factor that exists in the upper tiers of Modern and Wild. As soon as you start to introduce big abilities like dodge and phase and blind and major speed manipulation and all of that sort of stuff, there is a significant luck factor involved, and I think that is one of the major things that is attractive to those very high level players like Mondroid and Rogue, and I've seen a couple of other guys that I know compete very regularly for leaderboard in Modern or Wild, or compete for top spots in tourneys, and that speaks to ultimately the appeal of purely the fun factor. There's very minimal earnings available in Frontier mode, so it's purely for the love of the game. So I think that's something that you guys have nailed with Frontier mode, Dave, and it like I said earlier, I think it tees us up for a very strong, compelling story to tell, to your point, Jimmy, the Magic the Gathering guys, or to Keegs's neck of the woods, the Flesh and Blood guys. Like we've got a cool game that you can play on your phone. Take whether you're standing in line at the grocery store, you got 5 minutes to kill while you're sitting in the porcelain library at work, whatever it is. Splinterlands now with Frontier mode is god tier accessibility. You could do it on your phone. It takes 5 minutes tops. So there's a lot to really love and kind of nestle up with respect to Frontier mode, and that's all we could ask for. We're primed for some good stuff.
And I think there's going to be a nice transition too for a lot of people once they get used to the meta and get to the top. I mean, we got a Silver League cap. There's going to be, I think, quite a few people that are going to want to make the transition over into Modern because they're going to want to experiment. They're going to want more cards and win the reward cards and build their decks. Like I said, you can go for $5 and buy a nice legendary to add into your deck, and it's going to make a difference, right? So I don't even think we've even got to that phase yet, right? Like right now, it's like everybody's like focused on Frontier, which is great. And I think there's going to be a lot more people than they like. Some people are out saying things like, I only want to play Frontier. I don't even want to play the other mode. Like, I don't really think that's going to be the case. Like, I think maybe a few people that's the case, but most people are going to want to, if you're a gamer, at least, I think you're going to want to upgrade, right, at some point and get, the more sophisticated premium game as well. But, having said that, there is a lot of aspects of this that are a big deal. And like, for instance, I mentioned the 5, winning 5 battles 3 times a day. Like, that's perfect, right? Like, it's 15 wins a day. You essentially get an average of 25 that you can play. So you either got to be good or you can't quite play it. Like if you have less than a 50% win rate, then you're going to have to stagger it a little bit. Like there's some strategy, right? Like you have to learn, how to manage things. And so, yeah, I mean, I think that the other part of this is just winning the cards, like actually like winning a prize that is yours is a big deal. And so we're probably, in fact, I would say definitely going to be adding, tradable cards in some fashion in the premium mode too. Like I said, we're not dumb, right? Like we understand the difference between soulbound and not soulbound. Like people don't have to beat the dead horse. We understand, That's a big deal. We certainly want to be careful, right? We want to make sure we don't repeat past mistakes, and the world isn't binary, right? Like from doing it one way to doing it a different way on the polar opposite. If the first way wasn't great and the second way wasn't great, maybe there's a way to do it like neither way and do it a third way that's better. And I think that's what you're going to see. In fact, I'm confident that's what people are going to see. So for those people that I forget who said it, somebody said it. They said something like, "I don't even need my cards anymore. I don't even need that. I'll just go play the Frontier mode." My head, I'm thinking, well, we have a lot of pretty fun things lined up. I don't know if that's really the right call. Like maybe that's the right call for what you see like this second, but we have a lot of really cool things coming and a lot of exciting things. And, just the concept of the winning 5 battles and winning something, you can pretty much take that concept and expand it to a lot of different things, i.e., missions, achievements, bounties. Like there's a whole bunch of a list of things that are on the drawing board of ways that you can play the game and win something, right? And that's kind of what we are. We're a game, right? And we are a blockchain game. So the fact that you can win something means that you actually get it. You can keep it. And it's yours, and you can sell it. You can trade it. You can, level it. You can do whatever you want. So I think, Jimmy, you should be pretty happy about that. Don't you like to win things?
I do like to win things. How did you know?
I don't know.
Speaking of winning things, I just won my first foundation pack. That's
There
cool.
you go.
No way. Pop it open, Jimmy, live on stream. Let's see it.
I already popped it. I already popped it.
Oh, dude. Come on. Really?
Really? I got an epic and a rare though. That's good.
Nice.
What? No,
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
so this kind of lays us up for, I think, a pretty appropriate segue here, and I'm thinking about Frontier Mode and its ability to, serve as the tool, the lever that we're pulling on to attract those guys with the Crypto Gaming Recovery Fund, which, for those of you that are unaware, we just had our first 2 kind of template proposals passed to support and attract the guys from Tokyo Beast and the Walking Dead Empires, both passed with flying colors as of a couple of days ago. And I feel like Frontier Mode, this goes back to my earlier point of, just absolute timeliness. Having Frontier Mode there as, the red carpet for folks to come in and try and see if they want to apply for, recovering some of their funds through the CGRF. So how are you thinking about the CGRF, Dave, and what is Frontier Mode's role in attracting and helping us retain these folks that do potentially come over?
Well, Frontier Mode is the the conversion and retention piece. So obviously when somebody shows up and what do they see, what's their experience, I believe Frontier Mode is a massive improvement over what they saw 2.5 weeks ago. So to me that's how Frontier Mode fits in, but not just with Crypto Gaming Recovery Fund, with everything. Whether we run ads, whether people hear about us through word of mouth, however they find out about our game, right? Like that was important, right? As far as Crypto Gaming Recovery Fund, number one, I think it's an incredibly cool idea. I think it's extremely unique. It's something big picture, meaning I believe that there's going to be people that are going to want to write stories about this once they understand it, right? Meaning when I say write stories, I'm not talking about like a PT post. I'm talking about like New York Times, Coin Market Cap.
Oh,
You know,
New
people,
York Times.
yeah. I
Bam.
mean, in other words, it's that kind of thing, right? Like nobody's doing anything like this, and we're first, right? And that's a big deal. And yeah, it's only $500,000 right now, right? And yeah, you know, our team is so small, you know, we're not gonna, you know, we're not gonna be running commercials on the Super Bowl or anything crazy like that, right?
Our team is teeny tiny, but
Yeah,
our love for you is large.
yeah. Well, look, these are real assets, right? Like these are, you know, these are things that people are going to get that when their project fails, right? And if they come to the, you know, crypto gaming recovery fund and go through the application process, right, which basically means, hey, my project failed. I had this amount of assets. They're going to show up. They're going to like fill that out. They're going to set up an account. We're going to then refund them back their spell book, right? And now all of a sudden they're in the system, and there's like rules that they have to follow to stay in the system, right? Like they have to maintain a certain level of activity, but it's nothing crazy, right? Like you just need them to stay involved, and as they stay involved, then they continue to win their share of the pool, and that pool starts at more than 500,000, and will most likely go up as you know as we can as people see it. I'll put it that way. Like as people see the reaction, as people understand the value behind it, I think not only will we want to do more, I think that there will be other people that will want to join us. So, you know, there's a lot of projects out there that are going to wish that they did this. That's how I look at it. You know, they're gonna say, man, what a cool idea. And then they can either try to do it on their own, or they could say, hey, can we join yours? Can we give some assets to you guys and be part of it? And the answer is yes, right? Because honestly, the purpose behind it is there is a lot of crypto gaming projects that fail. Like we've been around 7 years, we've seen a lot of them, right? There's a lot of them that fail. And we kind of understand, or at least most of our people understand what it's like to be in a project that failed. I mean, you put your money in, you put your time, you had your hopes, you had your vision for what it could be, and then all of a sudden you lost, right? And it's not a good feeling, right? And so some people leave and never want to do it again. Other people try to find another new project, you know, when that happens, because they still maybe have the core beliefs, but they don't know necessarily which one to go in. And again, we're putting ourselves in that spot where we're like, hey, we understand, you know, we don't have a big ask. You know, we ask that you essentially, you know, come in, make sure you submit the proper information, and then participate in a reasonable way going forward. And, you know, and then we're going to offer you guys, you know, we're going to integrate you into the system. It's like putting our arm around somebody and hugging them, as opposed to saying, hey, your project failed, you know, come over to ours. We're better. I mean, that's true, but it's a different way of doing it. It's like putting your arm around somebody and say, you know, we understand, because we do. And, you know, I think our community is fantastic for doing it. The company is fantastic for us doing it on our side. And I think that as time goes and we get a little more familiar with, you know, how it works, I believe our community is going to be amplifying the message. We already got gold miners out there making, you know, messages, you know, to spread to people. I think over time we're going to have thousands of people that are going to be letting people know, like when a new project fails, they're going to be saying, hey, go over to that Splinterlands crypto recovery fund and, you know, you get to be a piece of it. And those are exactly the kind of customers we want. They're already in crypto gaming, and they're already, you know, in the Web3 space. So that's a win-win, in my opinion.
I feel like the recovery fund is such, you know, and you articulated that very well, Dave. I you know, especially with respect to the community's embrace and support of this sort of thing. I feel like the recovery fund is such an appropriate reflection of the very badass community that we have here. You know, I think back to my early days and you know, whether it was Clove or, you know, you go down the list of OGs that were looking out for brand new players, delegating cards, hosting live streams, willing to spend time to talk through and coach folks on, how do you navigate Hive and how do you get tokens here and there and transfer in game and all of that stuff. And I feel like this is just a very high level reflection of the very amazing community that we have accumulated over the years with some very, loyal and dedicated and real genuine folks that care about each other. So it's a very cool, kind of next level step for Splinterlands, and it's interesting because over the years and throughout a few episodes, I can't pinpoint exactly who the conversation was with or what the specific context was, but there's been moments where, Jimmy, I'm pretty sure you were part of those conversations, and shout out to our boy Hep. He was definitely part of those conversations of, maybe our tenure in Web3 is actually gonna hurt us because we are not that new shiny toy on the block, and we've kind of seen that come full circle where a lot of projects come and go and a lot of projects start and fail, and yet here we are just plugging away, and we just had one of the most successful pre-sales we've ever seen. I mean, you go down that list of top 6. We were talking about it in the Team Possible chat yesterday. Holy shit. The amount of funds that the top 6 guys, you zoom out even further and look at the top 25 buy-ins, that's incredible. So the conviction hasn't waned. The conviction has only deepened. And we see that in, the proof is in the pudding. You see that in a pre-sale that just launched, a couple of months ago. And yeah, it just feels like because I've completely flipped my perspective on, maybe Splinterlands being the dinosaur in the Web3 space is ultimately going to be our Achilles heel. No, I think that's the crowning jewel. I think, we've survived long enough and successfully enough to a point where I think Splinterlands is like the beacon of hope. I mean, that sounds cliche, it sounds cheeseball, but legitimately, I think Splinterlands has every chance and opportunity and potential to be that light in a dog shit industry that is mostly dog shit industry that is Web3. And this recovery fund is the representation of that.
It could also be used to our advantage in the fact that, besides the longevity, the comparison is when you're saying, oh, people want that shiny new thing. They want to get in early on something,
That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Well, what's the equivalent of getting in early? Low token price, right? I mean, so right now SPS is at, under a penny. We're still in the distribution phase. We've got 2 more years approximately of distribution. It's kind of like equivalent to getting in early. Like if you're stacking 12,000 SPS playing Frontier mode and SPS is under a penny, I mean, I don't know. That seems to me like you are given the opportunity to still get in early on a project that is actually now established for 7 years.
Yeah, I think that if you guys keep giving me points, we're never going to finish this show. But
we got that 7-hour episode up on our bingo.
Yeah,
card
we're
for
going for it. 7 hours. Here, hold on.
Yeah, I agree 100% about the 7-year is not a problem. In fact, that's a major feature because I've been through I'm old, right? So I've been in the financial space for 40 years. So I've been a licensed professional.
Damn, Jimmy.
For 40 years, right? So I've seen a lot. And not only that, but I've also studied history, right? And, all markets, they have the beginning phase of something, right? So whether it's the internet, when the internet came along, I remember that thing, we had a dial up and there was like a scratchy noise that came through as you were trying to connect on your phone. And people were like saying, hey, this internet thing is going to be the future, right? And back then, there were a lot of internet companies that started up, and some of them had good ideas and made it, and there was a lot of them that had good ideas and didn't, and a lot of bad ideas that didn't. And it's not just the internet, it's not just AI, it's not just it's markets as a whole. I mean, back in the 80s, there was all kinds of like IPOs and things like that you could buy, like gold mining companies for like a penny and hope to strike it rich. And that's what people were doing back then. And you can go all the way back to the railroads, when all these railroads were getting set up, and there was a whole bunch of them, and most of them go
Talking
out
the
of business.
Gilded Age? You're talking
Yeah.
1890s there,
Yeah.
Jimmy? 18,
Yeah,
you
that was
say 1890s.
back when I was a kid, man. My
Back in my day.
yeah,
I
back
knew
in
Dave was a vampire. Dave's a vampire. We just proved it. That's the deal.
so but if you think about that, like what happens is, in any exciting industry, you're going to have a situation where there's going to be a lot of people that are going to pop up. Why? Because the idea is real, right? The idea is legitimate. Like, people fall in love with that idea. The execution is the problem, right? Like, not everybody can execute. Like, you can have a great idea, and if you don't execute, you're going to fail, right? So
You need that elven summoner to do that for you.
yes, I guess.
The elven summoner with execute, right?
There you go. All right. Yeah, I was wondering where you were going there, Jimmy. Chocolate babies. I just say chocolate babies whenever you stump me like that. But yes,
chocolate babies. Baby.
So you get a situation though where somebody's going to come out a winner, right? And most of them are going to fall by the wayside. And there's a period of time where it's like brand new and everything's an idea, and then there's a point where it becomes a more mature industry, right? I don't even think we're close to the mature industry part, but I would say that 7 years, it is 7 years now. Like, it's not, the first year, right? Like, it is a thing, and it's been there for 7 years. And my guess is, you're going to see people talking about this 7 years from now as well, right? So at that point, it'd be 14 years, right? And then 7 years after that, it'd be 20 years. So at some point between the very beginning and 20 years, there's going to be, winners. And who are those winners going to be? And I can tell you some of the things you don't want to see. One of the things I've talked about in the past is confidence versus hope, right? So in the beginning, you hope, right? So almost everything you buy, you're like, ooh, I hope that's it, right? Like, I hope this is the right thing. Or let's talk about
I hope that
AI.
rusty Android takes off.
Yeah, exactly. Or let's use AI as a comparable, right? Like, I hope this particular AI is the one everybody wants, right? Because they've got all these AI products out there, right? And a lot of them are starting to be free, right? And so we're going through that process. So in the beginning, everybody's got hope, and then as people start to either not execute, or worst case fraud, or just incompetence, or I hate to use the word fraud, because even though it's prevalent, usually what happens is just people waste their money, right? Like, they get $100 million, they have a great idea, they take their 100 million, they do what everybody wanted us to do with the marketing, go spend that $100 million, and then they got nothing left, and then oops, sorry, we failed, right? So they hoped to succeed, right? They had some money to make them succeed, but if they didn't execute properly, they failed, right? That's
GLS.
Yep. Well, there's a lot of projects out there that are in that boat. We see them every day. We see them go around. The difference between hope and confidence is when you get confident, like when your company can execute, and when your company's not going to rug pull you, that's a big plus, right? So even if some brand new shiny little game comes up right now, or maybe it's not even so little, maybe they got some VCs that put in $50 million or $100 million to them. How do you know that they're not going to just waste that money? You really don't. So as an investor, right, like I've seen projects like these come and go all the damn time, and they always look good and they make a big splash and they spend all the money. And then if their premise was wrong, or if their execution wasn't right, or if they were flawed in any way, shape, or form, like they didn't understand the mistakes that somebody like us, have made, right? If they didn't understand that, then they're going to fail too. So it doesn't really matter how much you have in. What happens is you have to have the confidence of the people. In order to get those legs, you have to go from hope to confidence. People have to know that you're going to be in business the next day, right? And the next day and the next day. And I really believe that Splinterlands has kind of moved into that framework, right? Like we're putting ourselves in a position where the question isn't, whether we're going to be a business. The question is, like, how good are we going to be, right? And then that changes everything. So there's still a lot of people in this space. It's still brand new. The shakeout's still happening. But I think that 7-year, badge of honor is a huge deal, right? And so I know I myself am much happier about having multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars in a project like Splinterlands than I would some brand new project that I don't have any idea whether they can execute, whether their people are going to, take the money and run or pay themselves big salaries or whatever, go overspend on a commercial, like on the Super Bowl commercial or something dumb. Like you never know what they're going to do. But at the end of the day, you do know, you kind of have a pretty good idea what Splinterlands is going to do. And in my opinion, that's why that's a plus. And that's where the crypto recovery fund is. It's very subtle, but it's very big deal because it's without, like if somebody said, "Hey, how do we even know you're going to be around?" Well, we've already been around 7 years, so
yeah. Why wouldn't
that
we?
500,000,
yeah.
Right? I mean, it's we ain't like some company that just started up today and say, we're putting $500,000 into this, and and then they say, "Well, are you guys even going to be around?" Like at least in our case, we have depth. We have it's not just that we've been around 7 years. I mean, just think of all the things we have. I mean, look at all the different modes we have. Look at the fact that we even have modes that aren't even a TCG game. They're land modes and staking.
We have a basic mode. We have a basic mode, for God's sake.
Well, we did have a basic
mode. I'm kidding,
mode.
of course. Thank God we dodged that bullet. I just got to say that was a big move right there.
I think
basic
Django
bullet
had something to do with that. Actually, didn't he write a post or something about it?
Who, Jangles?
Yeah.
Well, he proposed frontier mode.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's
and
right.
And he had the enterprise and AI just coming across the screen right there at the new frontier.
Yeah.
It was the AI
the enterprise USS Enterprise with a covered wagon on top of it. And some freaking wooden wheels on the side.
Some asteroids floating by that have dysentery written on them.
With cactuses and tumbleweeds also.
I actually like the frontier because it represented like where we're headed, right? Like we're in undiscovered, territory, and we're going to keep pushing forward and farther. So
Splinterlands, the final frontier.
Yes.
Yeah. It's I'm stoked for it, man, and I'm really curious. DJ, shout out to Dahota. He just tagged me a couple hours ago about another project that just announced they were closing up doors. The project is Pirate Nation. I don't know if either of you guys, the Pirate Nation, the next chapter, maybe. I don't know if either of you guys are familiar with them.
I don't want to be a pirate. I don't know, but I can tell you right now that today isn't day one, but it's pretty damn close. We're putting out the official press release, right, about the program, the Crypto Gamer Recovery Fund. So we're gonna be blasting this out, to all the news organizations. Whether anybody picks it up or not, we'll see. It's not, by any means guaranteed that the New York Times is going to be writing an article about it. But it will cross, in other words, it will pop up whether people understand it and grab it or not, I don't know. But the point is that we're like going to be officially launched. And then once we're officially launched, there is no shortage of failed crypto gaming projects. I mean, literally, we could probably do 50 of them if we had the capacity to. Like right now, our capacity is, making sure that, we have the website that they got to land to, make sure we have some degree of explanation of what it is and what they have to do and how we're going to monitor it and all that kind of stuff. So that's like infrastructure. The way I look at that is it's infrastructure. So we're building infrastructure as we go. And whatever we do today, you can bet 3 months from now, it's going to be better. And then whatever we do 3 months after that, it's going to be better. So, this is going to be I think a pretty damn big deal because, like one of the guys in the, on the meeting when we had the team and the DAO group that manages it, somebody said, well, how are we going to deal with all these people that want their project, to be included? And I was like thinking to myself, like,
so that'd be a great problem.
Yeah. Like exactly. What an unbelievably awesome problem to have for us, right? Like there's like so many failed projects out there. It's almost like get in line, guys. Like, we'll get to you. We just have to build up infrastructure. So there is no lack of demand. I think it's just a matter of us having the right infrastructure and then getting the word out. And I'm not even too concerned about us getting the word out. Actually, I just want to make sure we have some infrastructure to be able to handle it. So, and I think the community is going to help a lot there. I mean, it's obviously the DAO is spearheading this. So I believe Clay is going to empower people like you guys to help. And then, my guess is from just my experience since I've been in this role here at Splinterlands, you're going to find another 100 to 200 guys that are going to, roll up their sleeves and say, hey, what can I do to help? And that's really cool, right? Like, that, like you said, Jingles, our community is absolutely unbelievable. And it's going to be one of those things that you're going to see even more as this rolls out.
Yeah, we're just going to continue accumulating cool people. It's a cool project. There's a very cool group of kind of core individuals that hang out in tavern and roll out the welcome mat. And I see all of this as us just whether or not that press release gets picked up and ran by the New York Times and CoinMarketCap and all these super top tier media sites is at this point, I think in my mind, it's it'd be great, but if it doesn't happen, like big whoop, we're pushing the snowball, and that snowball is going to, start rolling downhill and continue to pick up. Who knows who's involved in these other projects? People love random stuff. They fall into, you just never know who we're going to run into and what kind of way, ripples we're going to create. And if those ripples turn into waves when we come across, certain XYZ game in the Web3 space, you just never know. And, like you said, Dave, whether it's this first round of Tokyo Beasts and The Walking Dead, or it's the next round, which the process will be tightened up and improved upon, and our message and delivery, and we'll have the precedents already established with this first round, and from here we're only going to get better and tighter and have a better elevator pitch. Frontier mode's going to only continue to improve. The rest of the game is only going to continue to get polished. So I'm very confident and feel encouraged that this is our starting point. I feel like things are lined up, stars are aligned. We've got, like that big kind of guiding light goal of attracting these Web3 folks into Splinterlands, and yeah, it's prime for the taking. I'm stoked about it. It's going to be a big second half of the year, man. I'm here for it.
Yeah, and beyond, and I follow the adage, that you can't succeed if you don't try, right? So not everything we do is going to work immediately, and not everything is going to, like you can turn around and say, oh, yep, we're going to run this press release and so and so and so and so is going to pick it up. Like I always operate on the assumption, yeah, we're gonna do it, and it may catch fire, it may go viral, but I certainly am not counting on that, right? Like I'm focused on making sure that it's something that's gonna grow organically, right? Because of the way it's put together, not because it was hyped in some way. And in my opinion, that's what this is, right? Like this is something that is just common sense, man. I mean, almost anybody that takes the time to understand it is going to say, that's really cool. Like you guys are taking your money, you're putting it in, you're giving a structured way that they can participate. And all you're asking them to do is register and essentially check in, in a, minimal way, just to make sure that, they're still involved, right? Like as long as they're involved, they can participate, right? So I believe that alone is going to sell itself. Whether it gets amplified quickly by going viral or something like that is obviously I'm going to put myself in a position or put us into a position that it could happen, but it's not like that's necessary. So, I guess the way I look at this is I'm planning on it being, a 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. We're just going to keep adding and adding and adding. But it could turn into something exponential where it's like 1, then 5, then 10, then 50, then 200. Like, you never know how fast it can grow because the idea itself is just fundamentally like amazing. So, I'm pretty excited about it because honestly, this is the perfect demographic for us. Like, getting Web 2 guys is awesome, right? Because I think is a percentage of Web 2 guys that should want to own their assets, right? And so that's a pretty big pool, but this is like a more targeted specific group that is right up our alley. I mean, guys that are in the crypto gaming space that in Web 3, right? Like,
that Walking Dead's thing, was that like genuine Walking Dead IP, like from the Enterprise, or was it some spinoff?
I don't know.
It was a Gala. It was a Gala game. It looks like it was directly from the IP.
License?
Yeah.
Okay. That's pretty big.
Yeah. I mean, it's Gala Games. That's huge.
Yeah.
Is there Gala coming back? Yeah.
Say that again.
Is Gala like having a little rally at this point? Recovery/rally?
All I know is one of the comments I made is like Gala's going to be mad, right? Because we're telling people that fail on a game over in Gala, like, hey, come over to us, right? Like, my answer is like, okay, yeah. So, like, okay. I'm sorry if Gala's mad about that, but at the end of the day, if it'd be great if every crypto project succeeds and this industry gets built up really fast. But since that's not going to be the case, there is going to be plenty of failures, which is exactly what happens. Like I said, in industries that are brand new, which is exactly what this is. It's going to happen on a daily basis or a weekly basis for a long time. And, us being in a position to do something about it, to put our arms around people to find, I mean, can you imagine what would happen if there was another company out there, right? Just put ourselves in those people's position. Like, obviously, I don't want to think about Splinterlands failing, but if it did, and there was another company out there that came to us and said, hey, we know you guys, we're a great community, and we know you guys, had a lot of money invested, and, we got this crypto gaming and recovery fund. We'd like you to, if you're interested, you can come over and you just have to, become part of our community. And, I mean, I think a lot of people would love to do it. And from their end, wouldn't they would love to have a Jangles? Wouldn't they love to have a Jimmy? Wouldn't they love to have a Buctus and a Brave and a Zircon and, all the, I mean, in other words, it's like pretty simple, right? But nobody's thought of it. So we're ahead of everybody, in my opinion. That's a big deal too. Like there's going to be somebody else that's going to want to copy us at some point, but we were there first. Can't take that away from us.
Yeah, I would say that. I mean, that in my mind, that's still a win-win, right? It's copy paste, and we're the pioneers on the frontier here, baby.
Yes.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Bam.
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 Yeah. Good stuff.
Basic.
Maybe we could just say bam for like an hour back and forth.
Bam.
Bam. What was the Dave Chappelle where they were doing the what was that Dave Chappelle? Come on. Brain fart. We're like, yeah.
It was the Lil Jon.
Yes, what were they saying?
Lil Jon spoof.
What was the catchphrase? No, there was a catchphrase, right? That they were. Oh, I can't believe I can't think of it right now. You're pulling it up.
Just throw it out when it comes to you. Sometime during the show, that's a reason to stay tuned for your listening audience. Jimmy will come up with the answer to that at some point during this show.
What? That's it. Jangles just found it. What? Yeah. What?
Well, they didn't have to stay tuned very long, Dave. We shot ourselves in the foot with that one. We could have milked it a little more.
Of course, he would have forgot about it if we didn't say it now. So
I would have looked it up if Jangles didn't look it up. What?
Yes. What happened? Where is Christopher Walken, man? I was kind of wanting to find out what he thought about the new Frontier mode.
Frontier mode is lots of fun to play. It's very exciting. The cards kind of suck, which makes it more exciting because it's more challenging in that regard. Because that makes it more difficult to make teams. But it's very fun in that way. I like that I earn things. I sold a card for 14 cents yesterday, and that was fantastic. I thought that was a great thing to do. I hope to sell another card for 14 cents tomorrow.
That's good. Well, thank you, Mr. Walken. I appreciate that.
Anytime,
Nice.
Dave. Anything you need, I'm here for you.
The grease. Bam.
The grease. That's right. Dave is the grease, and grease is the word. It's the word that you've heard.
What?
It's got groove. It's got feeling. What?
Yes. Yes.
Mr. Walken, do you know anything about chocolate babies?
Chocolate babies. I don't. It was a skit, I believe, on SNL many moons ago with Billy Crystal in blackface as Sammy Davis Jr., which would not fly today, and Nigel Tufnell. Christopher Guest was the guy who said chocolate babies. So I did know that.
Chocolate babies, man. Jimmy, man, you're turning all of the Splinterlands younger generation onto this old school SNL stuff is great, man. Everyone's got to go. It's ridiculous. I watched that skit after we talked about it the other day. It's
Jimmy, you got such a great personality, and your love for humor is awesome. I still can't believe that you haven't watched Talladega Nights, man. That will give you so much material.
I haven't watched it yet.
Dave's right. Dave's right.
Yeah.
Okay, I know. I got to do it. I have to do it. You've seen Caddyshack, right, Dave?
Yeah, of course. Yes.
Okay. All right. So that means I have to watch Talladega. Have you seen Easy Money? I think we talked about this before.
Yeah.
Oh, you did? So you watched Easy Money?
Okay. I have.
Okay. All right.
Shake and bake, man. Shake and bake. You got to learn what shake and bake means.
That's a chicken. Shake and bake was an Easy Money too. Shake
Easy
and
Money?
Bake. Oh my God, you have not seen Easy Money?
I don't know.
That was Rodney
Yeah, that's
Dangerfield's film after Caddyshack. It was the next one. It was Joe Pesci's first film, I believe.
I
Also,
didn't know that, but yeah, I remember
yeah,
Easy Money. Yeah.
it's absolutely brilliant. I would say of Easy Money from a what's the word? Cinematography, but then making it into the present tense. From a cinematic point of view, the transition from scene to scene, the transition from scene to scene in that movie. Let's do a bad Marlon Brando. The transition from scene to scene in that movie is absolutely brilliant. Every time you go from one scene ends and the next one starts, it's hysterical. It's hysterical.
yeah. I don't know anything about this movie. James
Oh,
Signorelli, who's a big SNL guy, was the
I don't know who
director, the
James
writer.
Signorelli is.
He was the director. Easy Money.
The
All right,
director, really? I didn't
yeah,
know that.
it's on my list.
It's brilliant.
Talladega
brilliant.
Nights, though. I'm telling you,
All
you
right,
will
I gotta check it out, Dave. I gotta bite.
you will have material. I mean, People's Guild will blow up if you have. It will have
All
so
right,
much
I'll
material
try
for
it,
you.
man. I'm reluctant, man. It's one of those things. It's like second or third generation comedy from the stuff I'm used to.
Oh, it's
So like,
Jimmy.
it's
It's
like
absolutely
fish after.
prime Will Ferrell, dude.
Okay, I
It
do
is
like.
it is Will Ferrell at the peak of his powers, complemented by the perfect counterpart in John C. Riley. It's
Yeah,
absolutely outrageous. And then
it
Sacha
really
Baron
is.
Cohen for good measure. It's
Oh,
fucking
I did not
ridiculous,
know
dude.
SBC was in there too.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. He plays the
it's
Oh,
very
hilarious.
flamboyant French F1 driver.
all right, you might have pulled me into the thing. Because I remember when my band was on the road and we used to watch the Ali G show. You know, the
Oh
Sacha Baron
yeah.
Cohen thing.
Uh,
It's on HBO before
Dude,
anyone knew
you
that.
look like the Viking version of Ollie G with the glasses and the skull cap, dude.
I'm trying to wear my hat because Dave is on there.
yeah,
Do you know Ollie G,
nobody else
Dave?
can see it, but you know, we you should probably take a screenshot and make sure you put it in the PD post.
Oh yeah,
Put it
we
in the
need Jimmy with
post.
the skull cap. This is Ollie G.
That is the
This is
Ali G
this
skull cap
this
and
is
yellow
Jimmy
glass.
right now. Like Viking skull cap and
Yeah,
blue light glasses.
it is.
Oh man.
Brilliant
Yeah,
character, though. I mean, he was
you
just a genius. Uh,
he still is, man. I mean, his later stuff I don't think is.
well, it's harder to get away with that because
Yeah,
everyone
that's
knows who
exactly
he.
what it is. Yeah.
He did that. He did that other one where he was going to all the Trump rallies as like the I forget the name of the character, but and again he looked like this total hillbilly. He was all done up, totally disguised, but people still recognized him. You know, back then, I mean, he was doing interviews with like top ranked politicians, NASA scientists, people from the high ranking universities, and just and they had no idea that it was a joke. You know, his character was so good that he would go in there and just troll the living shit out of them, and they had no idea
Well,
that it was
he
just
managed to pull it off for like 15 years, right? Like Ollie G and then
it
Borat
was
and then
until the Borat
Bruno.
movie came out. Once the movie came out, I think that's what outed him. Before that, yeah, he had the Ali G, he had Bruno, and he had Borat, and just oh man. I remember watching that on HBO when it was new every week and just not believing the balls on that guy, the brass balls on that guy.
Well, yeah, he kills it in Talladega Nights, dude. You've got to put that
All right,
at
okay,
the
you
top of your
sold me. I
list.
didn't know he was in there. I have to
Oh
watch
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I'll have to see it.
The-
Idiocracy, Dave, you've seen that one?
Yeah, oh yeah, love Idiocracy.
Okay,
100%.
gotcha. Well, because
Yeah,
it's prophecy. I mean, we're hitting that point where
yeah,
it's like,
it's true. We live in Idiocracy, so yeah,
oh man, I remember when that came out being like, yeah, I could see that happening, but then the
yeah,
speed with that it has happened has been mind-boggling.
yeah. It's that it was. I love that movie a lot. So, and yeah, it is a documentary, so I get it.
It is a documentary. I think so. Yeah.
Jimmy, but before I forget, let's get your Ollie G gang signs, dude. I'll screenshot it and get it in the post, bro. Yes. Yeah. Oh my God,
You can't
man.
be smiling. You got to be serious.
All right, yeah, wipe the smile off. Let's go.
I have yellow glasses, if that helps.
All right, yeah. Check out the Peak Depots for some amazing Splinterlands Praetorian parallels to Ollie G with our own Fed Jimmy.
I'm grabbing the yellow glasses, Jimmy. We got to do it. I mean, I enjoy the orange glasses. The blue light block. I've been getting into the blue light blocking. It's fucking awesome.
Does it work?
Love it. Yeah, really does. There's the yellow. There's the Ollie G.
Dude. Yes. Oh man. I don't know how you're keeping a straight face, Jimmy.
It's the mushrooms.
It's the mushrooms. Oh shit. Yes. Brilliant. Okay, I got you.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's turn this baby back towards Splinterlands. Last topic I got written down here, Dave, is survival. We're seeing that proposal pass with pretty solid showing. I think we're sitting at damn near 90% at this point. 2 days to go. Looks like we're rest assured going to an official proposal stage. I don't know if you've been keeping track of comments, but it seems like for the most part, folks are pretty supportive. There is some criticism in terms of, how could we adjust this a little bit, but I think ultimately, like we've talked about in episodes past, I think the test, the nature of this being a 3-month test is ultimately what it comes down to, and obviously we've got plenty of room to define from there. So, what's your take on the survival mode proposal, Dave? And yeah, we'll start there.
Well, I'm actually pretty excited about it because I think that one of the biggest problems that we've had is very binary society, and like let's take leagues for instance. Some people are like, we need league caps. Other people are like, no, we don't. That was horrible. And then everybody kind of settled into it's got to be one way or the other. Same thing with bots, right? Like some people are like, nope, the only way to play the game is manually, and other people are like, nope, we buy our assets, we should be able to play them no matter what. And then it became a fight. Everything was binary. This is going to create a situation where there's many different choices. And when you have many different choices, then all of a sudden the world's a little more complicated and much less binary. I think that's a good thing because I believe that over the years we've lost a lot of people because we've tried to force the losing side of a binary situation out, right? Like, we don't want to do it your way. We're not going to do it your way. And then what are they left with? Either adapt or leave. And we've lost a lot of people over the years. So I see that the way that this particular, proposal set up is very flexible. There's very many different ways, to play. And we're going to learn, like some ways work and some ways don't. And, the things that we think are true, maybe not. But at the end of the day, if you want to play, there should be a spot in there. There's 11 different brackets, so there should be a way for you to play. Maybe not everything you want, like it may not be perfectly designed to your way of playing, but there should be enough in there to, like eliminate a lot of those things. Like if you're unhappy about leagues, now you can be happy because there's going to be a league level one. And if you didn't care about leagues, but you cared about bots, then you can find one without where you got to play as a human, So it's like all those kind of things. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jimmy.
So as you're saying, there's choices for different peoples to do different things. So as if you like leagues, you can play with league caps. If you just don't like leagues, you don't have to play that way.
Correct. Yes, you got it
That was
right.
bad Ali G. That was bad Ali G right there. You had to see
I
the
thought it
hand
was.
going.
I thought it was Mr. Walker. I'm sorry.
That was bad Ali G. So if you don't like this, you have to like that.
Even when I hear any impression from you, it's like walking is just like doing a bad impression. So it's still always
It's bad walking. It's all the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless we do Jimmy, have you seen that? Have you heard about this? Have you seen this? Have you heard about this? Dave McCoy now running Splinterlands. Have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
See that's walking, just doing a different thing, man. He's just
That's walking doing handicap Jimmy.
Yeah, exactly.
Screenshot.
There it is.
Yeah,
Screenshot
yes,
there, man.
You see that, Dave?
That's freaking awesome.
Oh, there you go.
Oh yeah, that's so funny.
That's very, very good. So going back to survival, so yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. It'll take us a couple months, to get it worked out. But I think that we're going to learn a lot, and I'm excited because eliminating the binariness is, I think, like a systemic block that we've had for a long time. So being able to attract and retain various types of people instead of trying to force everybody to be a certain way, I think is going to just expand and grow, like what we're going to, how we're going to be able to do it. So, some are going to be like, there's a level 1 league, man. I mean, a level 1 league, like literally you can only play level 1s if that passes. Some people would say, like, that's not going to be a big deal. Kind of reminds me of the whole frontier discussion, right? Like, I look at that and say, maybe there's going to be people that are going to enjoy playing our game, right, with this survival mechanic and all playing against all other level 1 teams. Like, I actually think there might be some people that are like that, right? Like, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but my gut tells me there will be more than we think. That's just
I say less filling.
Yes. Tastes great, Jimmy. Not less filling. Tastes great, Jimmy.
less filling.
No, it tastes great.
I'm flipping my call. I think it tastes great.
Yeah, well, it's less filling, so it's just the way it is.
Great. Tastes great.
Yeah, you realize that a lot of our listeners have no idea what we're talking about.
I know, because they're like 12.
Yeah,
they don't understand.
The people skill demographic probably is in that 12 to 15-year-old category.
That's a product of the guests that we bring on, Dave. Shoot, that was Miller Lite, wasn't it? I think that was before my time, but
yeah, Bob Ueger, right? Bob Ueger.
Oh, not just Bob Ueger. There was all kinds of football players, baseball players. I mean, they had all kinds of people that they would get on and they would argue about whether Miller Lite, either some people said it tasted great, the other one said it was less filling, and then they would fight about it, like what was the reason that everybody chose. And of course, the point was that both were good, right? So that's the binary thing that I'm talking about. Like, Splinterlands is a great game, whether you're a gamer, whether you're a collector, whether you're just a casual player. Like, somebody did a video the other day, a lady we haven't seen, or at least I haven't seen in a while. And, she's like, hey, I just want to have something to play after dinner. Like, I'm done with dinner. I want to go play a few matches. Like, that's cool. Like, we need more people like that too.
That's what it's about. Yeah, we need that for sure.
Yeah, the casual element is so big, and we've ignored it for so long.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, not just ignored it. We've disassembled it for so long.
Yeah, we've written it off. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
it's vital. Absolutely
not in
vital.
my world, though. Just so you know, I think casual players are a big, big potential opportunity.
Bam.
I want to,
That's
I
what.
want to, I want to have Friday night with the People's Guild crew, and let's just make that like a night, and we all hang out. We talk about Christopher Walken and the Ali G, and and play
Shake and
some
bake.
matches, right? And
Talladega Nights,
maybe we
Tyler
could,
Jigger Nights.
yeah, maybe we could create some cards, some spoof cards around those, right? Like
Oh, we
you
need a
never
Jimmy
you never
card
know. Yeah, yeah.
pointing at
Bam,
you.
bam,
Bam.
yeah,
I'll
yeah.
point at you with
Make
explosions in the background.
screenshot that one there, Jangles. That's our next card. We gotta get Nate's crew working on that right there. Bam.
Hold it, Jimmy. Boom. Yeah.
Bam.
Yeah.
Bam.
Boom.
Bam. Yeah, I mean, I love the concept of, we experienced a lot of that with the community testing in Conclave. It was Rogue, Mondroid, Blaze, Eagle, Clay, Jimmy. You would pop on from time to time and hang out, Gathering, Shade. There was a group of probably between 5 to 10 of us that would routinely hop on and shoot the shit. One of us would screen share and just it wasn't always talking about gameplay and card design and strategy and all that stuff, but it was just a fun, reminded me of way back in the day when everybody would, meet up at a homie's house and play Xbox or whatever. It's just fun video game hangout. Like we need more of that. Like I feel like we've moved everything to a place where everybody is so concerned about what is the financial incentive, and I understand it. We have a lot of the mechanics in the game kind of forced our perspective to put our eyes in that direction. So it's
Exorbitant costs.
Yes.
Makes that a thing.
Yeah.
Exorbitant cost. And that's where Frontier Mode kicks in and says, there were a lot of people who said, no, this game isn't fun. And I was always like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm sorry. This game is fun.
Yeah, why
as
are
hell.
you here? Yeah, it is
Yeah,
fun as
yeah,
hell.
exactly. It's fun as hell. And this is showing people that, people will play. Like, it's not just the financial element. So I'm hoping we find that balance in the premium mode too. Like, I think again, man, if people want to spend $100,000, they should be able to, and there should be ways to do it. And introduction of new collectibles, new foils makes that a thing, right?
Yep.
But I still
Yep.
think if you want to play the premium mode, you should be able to do it on a budget. And I'm not talking it's free or super cheap, but if you want to play bronze and you want to kick ass at bronze and do tournaments and do ranked, you should be able to do that. You want to do gold? We lost so many gold players when we got rid of leagues. Just people who are putting in thousands of dollars a year to maintain their gold decks. Gone.
Yeah,
You're fucking left.
Yeah, but now, Jimmy, we got a situation where it's not like we got to bring, in order to enable those guys, we have to get rid of the other people. Like, no, we're just adding that capability. That's all.
Right. Adding.
Right? Like,
exactly.
Yes, exactly.
And I'm also talking about making the premium mode affordable. I know that's a big thing for some people, but yeah, I think that's a big part of why we saw such a downturn in the premium mode. It just like
Well, it was a combination of both, right?
constantly rising bar of cost.
Yeah. Well, the floor to play competitively was rising from, like a minimum of because Chaos Legion was $600 or $700 for a full set. There were a lot more folks competing with closer to that full set than not. So unless you participated and leveled your own respective deck up, you were getting just steamrolled, which wasn't fun. And then the other side of that, after Chaos Legion, Rebellion was comparatively far more expensive. So it was both sides of the equation, kind of raising that low watermark. And back to the survival mode brackets, I feel like it's such a good test to see how do folks want to consume Splinterlands? And I'm stoked that we've got, like you called out, Dave, the 1BCX card should have a place in Splinterlands. And right now it really doesn't. Like, the only reason a lot of folks have kept 1BCX singles of cards is because they're easier to sell. But now, the survival mode bracket respects that it is just as much a Splinterlands card as, your max kitty or, whatever the most valuable card in the game is. It just operates on a different tier. And now there's a home in gameplay for those 1BCXers.
Yeah, agreed. And that, like, there are some people that were conditioned like, well, if we let them have fun at level 1, then why would they ever go to max? And in my opinion, that's backwards thinking. Like, it should be the other way around. It's the same thing with frontier mode. Like, people are like, why do we want all these free people coming in? I mean, they're just, they're not gonna, if they're not buying anything, then what good does that do? And I would say, give me 100,000 people in frontier mode, and you watch and see what happens to our paid, our premium.
Hold my beer, bro.
It will light up, right? It's the same thing. Like, you give me 100,000 people that want to play level 1 cards. That's cool, because I know a certain percentage are going to want to go level 2s and level 3s and level 4s. Like, they're going to want to, just natural curiosity. There is a segment of people that are going to want to go up, but there's nothing wrong with people wanting to play our game at the base level, period.
That's the thing that's been overlooked for years and just brushed under the rug. It's like, it's all averages and percentages. You get 1 million players playing level 1 cards, there's going to be a certain percentage that wants to play bronze, certain percentage out of that moves up and moves up and moves up. Yeah, you don't want everyone, and you can't assume you're going to just get everyone at the top. That's ridiculous.
Right.
That's insane. That's part of what was trying to kill us, was like, oh, everything's just top level. No, some people will naturally progress there, but not everyone.
Yeah.
And you can't force that. You don't want everyone at the top. It doesn't work.
Yeah, you don't want to have a situation where people say, I can't achieve whatever objective is. Like, if the objective is to be at max, you don't want them saying, I can't achieve that, so I'm gone.
So I quit because because it's binary.
Right.
It's a 1 or a 0. You got to play at the top level, or we don't want you here.
Right.
And that message has to go away. And I'm glad we're making it go away.
Well, that is gone. I mean, it's not going to go away. It is gone. In other words, we are now a much more multi-dimensional company going forward, right? Like, that's built into like everything I try to do. I mean, just look at all the changes that we're making. Like, we didn't just have a black foil; we had a black foil and a black foil arcane, right? There's, you know what I mean? Like, the point is we're not gonna have just soulbound reward cards, right? We're gonna have also cards that are able to be tradable. Now, I'm not sure exactly what we're going to do on the soulbound or excuse me, on the reward set, but I can assure you we're not going to be 100% either way.
So
because it doesn't make sense to be 100% either way. It doesn't, in my opinion, it's very limiting. Soulbound has a purpose, and there's perfectly good reasons to soulbound things from time to time, but also unsoulbound and tradable has a purpose, and there's a reason to do that from time to time. So trying to pigeonhole somebody on one side or the other is in my opinion a systemic flaw. So that hopefully will be gone. As especially, I mean, all these things take time too, right? Like, immediately within a week, I'm pretty sure there were people that were already saying, like, within a week of Frontier coming out, like, why don't we have like reward card or cards we can win over here in the rank play? It's not like, and so the answer is, of course we understand that, but it's not like we snap our fingers and like just make them appear. I mean, there's processes that we have to do. We have to, like, right now I'm on a mission.
AI. I'm kidding.
Yeah. Well,
I'm joking.
I mean, I can tell you, we like right now, I've got a, relatively simplistic spec sheet on a thing called missions, right? And it would be something very simple. So, like during a particular season, a particular mission pops up randomly, like let's say once a day kind of thing. And then when it pops up, if you win that, you get your normal, like just like you would normally win whatever SPS and reward card, like whatever those rewards. But in addition to that, there would be like a special prize that you could get, which would include the possibility of getting like one of these mission type cards, for instance. So the object is, to essentially, gamify in the distribution of extra cards, but do it in a way that's fun, right? Like we need to do things that are fun and engaging and make people want to play, right? Like that's the goal. So we're working on it. I mean, we got, like I said, there's a lot of stuff that we're working on. Like I love it when people come in and like declare, like they say things like, yep, we're done. Prices are going down on Frontier mode. We reached our peak. We're done. Like how the hell do they know what we have on the drawing board? I mean, honestly, they don't. So, people can say anything they want to say, but at the end of the day, I can tell you, we've got lots of things on the drawing board, lots of things, in our minds. And the bigger we get, the stronger we get, the faster we get big and strong, the faster we're going to be able to do all these things. And there's a lot of cool things we can do. So, like
there's at least two more things coming.
Yeah, way more than two things. Why? How did you come up with two things? Out of curiosity.
I mean, that's just the bare minimum. There has to be at least things coming. I would hope.
Yeah. There's more than two things for sure. Matt himself is working on two things. So
Matt is one of two things.
Matt himself has got two projects he's working on himself.
Way. Bam.
So not counting all the other projects that we do every single day as well. Like what I was just talking about, the missions or the land cards. I mean, like some stuff is leaked, some stuff hasn't leaked. But, at the end of the day, yeah, we got way more than two things in the hopper. And by the way, 2026 is going to be huge too. You watch and see what we can do with if we ever had a 2021 run, like we have, back then, if we ever had anything like that here, I mean, the amount of things that we would be able to pump out would be amazing. Like, we're only constrained by the size of our team at this point. But
that's what she said.
So,
bam.
Bam.
Dave, speaking about the things that you got in the hopper, is there anything that you want to, or are you in any position to shed light on any of the, I know that there's been a lot of requests for things like, we've continued to kind of hear whispers of like boss monsters or guild overhauls or, glamour kind of came and went. Is there anything that you're in a position to kind of shed light on in terms of what it is that you guys are trying to get served up before year's end?
I know that both of Matt's projects he's planning on talking about on Wednesday, or at least giving a mention them, right? Like, I don't think he's going to go super in depth on it, but I think he's going to mention them. So I don't want to steal his thunder on his two projects.
Well, I have to ask beforehand, are these whale only modes that he's working on, or is this something different?
Let me think how to put this. Well, I will say on the guild side, one of Matt's beliefs, I think you would share, and I think everybody would share if they thought about it, right? So if they give it thought, is that the guild aspect of a game, whether it's our game or any other game, is a pretty big deal. And the community social aspect that comes with guilds is very retention focused. Like people, once they get part of a guild, they play more, they communicate more, they work together, things like that. So one of his focuses is the guild system. And so I said I wasn't going to steal his thunder, but you made me steal his thunder. So so
that's not specific. That's good to hear.
I mean,
we're done for that. Guilds.
Yeah, I mean, put it this way. So his focus is on, how do we use guilds to attract and retain players? So that would definitely not be a whale, thing.
Right.
One of his other ones, will appeal to whales. But I think it will also appeal to the brand new person coming in. And
that's huge.
But it will be one of those things that it's not going to be 100% for everybody, but I think it's cool enough that there's going to be a lot of people that want to participate in it. So, and that's the other thing when we come down to the binary discussion part of everything. Like I've explained it to people this way, like there's many different cool things about our game. Like one is the game, right? Like the Game Boys, right? The Game Boys love the game, right? The Crypto Bros, right? They used to fight about the Game Boys and said it had nothing to do with the game. And it was all about our crypto, right? So the Crypto Bros, they had their way of looking at it. Then there was the collectors, like people like me that was, paying it into one of those two because those other two were like primarily white people here. But like now I wasn't either a Game Boy or a Crypto Bro. I just like the damn cards, right? Like I just think the cards are cool. And I could see down the road how these things could be like really, really desirable, right? So there's three that I just mentioned, but there's others, right? There's the people that are here for the social aspect, things like that. So all these different things are what the staking, for instance, the financial aspect, right? Like, putting something on land and earning an ROI or putting in a liquidity pool. There's another one. So not every one of those aspects is going to appeal to 100% of the people, but you don't need every aspect to appeal to 100% of the people. In fact, if you had 5 different aspects, right, then if each of them just equally appealed to 20% of the people, you would then cover 100% of the people, if that makes sense, right? So if you can appeal to the gamer, cool, now you got the gamer. But then if you could appeal to the Crypto Bro, now you got the Crypto Bro. If you could appeal to the collector, now you got the collector. Well, if you take those three together, now you're talking like 60%, right? So it's that same mentality. So when the project that Matt's working on, it's not that 100% of the people are going to say, "Ooh, that's awesome," but I think enough people that are going to say, "Yeah, that's really cool," right? Like I want to do that, and that's what you want, right? Like that's exactly what you want. It's the same with the free to play mode. Not 100% of the people are going to want to do the free to play mode, but it's certainly going to appeal, to a segment of people. So. I don't know. I tried to dodge around a little bit, weave in and out there, but
Bam.
Bottom line is, I'm happy for both of the projects Matt's doing. I think that they're going to be a very welcome addition from the community. And in addition to those, I mean, we have other things that are going. Like I said, I'm working with Creative actually on setting up the mission. Like a bare bones proof of concept, like nothing massive. We're working on things like the land cards that Cryptomancer's already leaked. So that's not anything new that we're leaking, but he's been coding now for a while and to make all that happen. So, there is a lot of stuff we're working on, not to mention the reward set. And we got, we're working on, like traditionally we either do a promo card or promo cards or a mini set. We're working on stuff like that. So, we're staying busy. And in the meantime, we're also doing things like we heard the feedback on the mana caps, for instance. Like people are like, hey, could you have a little more variety in the mana caps, right? So that not everything feels like it's low mana, right? Like, could we have some more high mana caps? So, those are kind of discussions that we have and we get programmed in on a regular basis. So even though those aren't monumental things, I mean, we're still making changes and improvements, hopefully, pretty much on a daily basis.
Man, it's such a different space from where we were 6 months ago versus 12 months ago. And I can't imagine what we're able to accomplish before year's end. We're still sitting firmly in the middle of Q3 here. We got a good 4.5 months to go before the end of the year. And, just reflecting on what you guys as the Splinterlands team have accomplished, obviously when you first came in, the primary focus, and justifiably so, was Conclave. But once you got that, signed, sealed, delivered, you were able to focus on a whole bunch of different stuff. And man, yeah, future is bright, man. I'm looking forward to it, Dave. And all of this stuff sounds great. I was one of the first, I think, to be very critical of, like, not to dig up old bones, but when the DAO hired Cryptomancer to work on land, I very quickly put up my hand and was like, well, I would much rather see that effort allocated towards something like guilds. And now, fast forward, here we are, we've got land and guilds are getting worked on. So, yeah, it feels like the team is operating at we're moving to a place where I'm not going to speak to the degree of, I can't speak to the degree of being a well-oiled machine to the same depth that you can, but, it feels like, all engines are purring and things are churning out on a very regular basis. It's full steam ahead. I feel like, every week you get your official announcement update from Eagle with what was implemented every Tuesday. And it's not an insignificant list. Like there's substantial stuff, and a lot of it, kind of just gets snuck in there. Like, as an example, if you guys navigate to your SPS page, there's now there's a music player, which, I think is indicative of, some Karina Splinter Vibe funk being able to be played in game at some point in the not too distant future. And just these little things, in addition to, like the big picture moving stuff, or moving towards stuff that you guys are, slowly getting there. It's encouraging, man. It's what I think everybody was waiting for. So
yeah,
and greasing it up. Grease it up, baby. Keep throwing the grease. And
I will say Dave didn't really do any of it, though, just so you know. Like, literally.
Bullshit. I'm calling bullshit on that. I'm calling bullshit on that.
I'm telling you, okay. Well, I can tell you that the team definitely deserves a lot when it comes to executing. In other words,
oh yeah,
they're making stuff happen. I mean, just look at like the pickle raffles, the Blackfoot auctions are coming up. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we've done that, just came out of nowhere, and now people are like that's just part of the game, right? Like, it's all happened recently, and it's pretty cool, right? Like, we can now craft, raffle tickets, for instance, and participate in raffles if that's your thing. And again, it's back to the 15 or 20% rule. Like, not everybody's going to want to do that, but the guys that do it, they got something fun and exciting they want to do. And again, that's all meant for a purpose, but that was all created out of thin air. I mean, it didn't exist, 6 months ago. So hats off to the team for, making that happen, whether it's the creative guys that, made the pretty pictures, right? And the way in which it handled, or the guys coding it that made it happen. But, at the end of the day, it's, there's a lot of stuff happening. So I'm really excited. And the other thing I would say is like a lot of the guys, like you mentioned, Manser. I mean, Manser is a huge asset holder on his own right, right? So the cool thing about the team, like people like him, for instance, and there's a lot of them, right? They almost all of them either play the game or have a lot of assets in the game, and most of them play the game. And like somebody like Manser, I mean, yeah, it's his job, but I think he just loves doing it. Like he just loves making this stuff. Like he's just like I don't have to worry about, is he going to do it? I mean, he's going to do it. He loves doing it. Like he's going to do it as fast as he can, and you can tell by what comes out. Like he's a pro. He's going to make sure it works. So, yeah, I mean, I appreciate the kind words for me, but honestly, these guys are the ones doing it. All I'm doing is essentially, pointing
Greasing
the way.
it up. Greasing it up, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Bam.
Dave, I got to push back with Jimmy. I mean, the team outside of you hasn't changed a whole lot in the last couple of years. You're the conductor that we were missing. Like we have all these talented folks that were, maybe didn't have the right direction, or maybe, maybe there was. I'm not going to say what the difference bottom line is, but there's definitely been a shift in terms of company output, team output, quality of output, the pace at which this output is getting delivered. And then the community response has happened in kind. So I know you're going to sell yourself short, Dave, but I got to push back with Jimmy, and we were missing the conductor, and that's you. You have 100% greased things, and we've talked about it before. Turning hope into confidence, that happens just as much internally as it does externally, and we're seeing the fruits of that labor. The culture of believing in themselves and being able to deliver this stuff at a pace that was probably unheard of a year ago. It continues to happen. So
Grease is the word. Once again,
grease is the word.
Grease word.
Well, thank you both. That's nice, and I'm proud of what they're doing. I'm also proud of the community. Like some days I'm human, right? And you go in and you catch Discord, and some dude's throwing up a poop emoji and throwing like why isn't this fixed? Like like we just did something and they're like immediately bitching about it. So some days it's a little frustrating. It's like I'm really busting my ass, and and these are the kind of things that some people like say, and it's a little disheartening. But having said that, then I think of you guys and hundreds and hundreds more just like you, and at the end of the day, like it's something that we're all working towards something similar. And I think the opportunity is what kind of keeps us all around. And I like the fact that while we're moving from hope towards confidence, but it's not like, again, a binary thing. It happens in increments. And I think we're moving in the right direction. And with each of these things that we do, I think people get a little more confident. And there'll be a point where, I'm firmly convinced that you guys are going to have me on a show one of these days, and you're going to say, damn it, you told us, right? Like now all of a sudden we know it's going to happen, right? And so, but it ain't going to be anywhere near here. Like our assets aren't going to be anywhere near here when that finally dawns on the people. So, that's a good thing though. That's how it should be, right? Like, otherwise people are just betting on hope. And again, that's what the crypto bros are always wanting, right? Like just, take a gamble, take a shot, hope it works. Like other people don't want to do that. Like they're, they want to put their money when they're confident it's going to work. And, both have their place. And at the end of the day, I'm proud of the community and I'm proud of the team. And really, I love the spot we sit. I have seen a lot of industries. I do remember when people were like saying things like, hey, this internet thing, it's probably going to be a big deal. Like I can remember those conversations, right? And now we look back and we're like, wow, like was that ever really a conversation? But yes, actually it was.
Oh, dude,
Like
Sears Roebuck turned down. Like I remember someone offered to build Sears Roebuck a website, and their reply was, "Who's going to buy anything on over a computer?"
right. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and now where are they? Where are
Yeah,
they?
where is Sears in general?
Yeah.
Right.
But which is crazy because they literally started mail order. Like
Yeah.
it's the same. Like people would send them money and a freaking envelope, and they would mail them a product. So it's like literally that mentality that made them dominate the market. Someone said, "Yeah, you're going to do the same thing with a computer." They're like, "Yeah, I don't know about that, bro."
Yeah. Yeah. And then I could go the other way too. Like they would say things like we're going to get our pet food delivered right online. And I remember when pets.com came out and like everybody was like, yeah, that's like you were either on one side of the camp or the other. You were like, yes, this is going to be a thing. And then the people that were cutting it down were saying like nobody's ever going to do that. How dumb is that, right? It's big, it's bulky. Who's going to want to order 50-pound bags of dog food online? And so pets.com got the big, surge, and then they go out of business, right? Because, again, the industry is going to like blow up and then shrink and then blow up and shrink and blow up and shrink. But now you look back and you're like, yeah, there actually was, people do buy stuff like that online now, right? It just wasn't pets.com's time. Like the way they did it they didn't execute properly. They didn't have the right model in place, but the idea actually was smart. And so whether that's AI, like we're in the midst of it right now with AI, there's going to be somebody's going to come out of AI and just massively win in that space. And then there's going to be a lot of people that invest in things that fail. So we're kind of in the same thing and we don't even know it, right? Like crypto gaming is, I believe, like why would you not want to own your assets? Like when you think about it, like yeah, you could play everything online, right? But the all the stuff where you never own anything, I mean, it boils down to like I as a collector, like I personally would never, like I'm not a gamer, right? So the gamers may do that, but as a collector, like I want to still be able to own what I get, right? Like I want to own it. It's just a collector. And then of course a trader is going to care about, trading aspect, and, an ROI guy is going to care about the ROI. So there's different pieces that can all be put together, and the crypto gaming space is ripe for somebody huge to come out and be a winner. And I see no reason why that can't be Splinterlands. I don't see anybody else doing it better than us at this point. Not that we're doing it great. It's just I don't see anybody better. It's not as simple as people think. There's a lot of things to be considered. But having said that, 7 years in, we're in a pretty good spot, in my opinion.
I would agree. So let's start winding it down here, Dave. What we've talked about a whole bunch of stuff that you guys have knocked out over the last few months. Looking ahead, is there one piece in particular that, I think last time we had you on, it was Frontier Mode that, how it was the eye, or was the current target in your eye? Is there something that kind of represents the next landmark step forward that's coming up that we're aware of that, maybe the community is not quite recognizing for, the potential magnitude of which this development will mean for us, for the game, for the community, for our ability to attract new people? Where is your mind at with respect to the next big piece that's moving into the puzzle?
I think that the number one, Frontier was a big deal. I mean, a very big deal, right? Because it enabled us to attract and retain people. So that can't be, fortunately, there's not a ton of those things we needed to do. Like, that was a big deal to get done. I do think that we're going to be adding more dynamics in place. For instance, like I said, like a mission or something like that you can, and again, all this is like, could be, it might not be called missions, but the concept is, you'll be able to do things in the game, like win bounties or missions or things like that, and actually win a tradable prize. Like I believe that's coming. Is that the same as Frontier mode? Like, no, but it's certainly a big leap from, everything being soulbound, so I think, it's got to be measured. It's got to happen in a way that is manageable. And I know, like, everybody, like, first thing they say is like, oh no, you can't do that. Oh God, we're going back to the old days. Like, no, I'm not going to do that either. So, so I think things like that are big deals because it breaks the taboo. It makes people understand, like, we can actually have a soulbound card and a non-soulbound card. Like, we can do both. Like, yeah, we can. And even though that seems simple, I believe a lot of people don't think that way. So to me, that's a big deal. The land card is a big deal. The little, proof of concept that we're doing on those is a big deal because, number one, we're making a card that's specific for land, right? Like, it's not playable in the other modes. It's only playable in that, which has a lot of implications. Number one, it's a mode that, is going to have a card that's a Splinterlands card, but it's going to be like not contained in the other one. So having mode specific cards, it'll be the first one of those. Number two, it's going to be a card that's going to be craftable from resources, from land, which is a big deal, right? Like, that's kind of what originally land was supposed to be. So creating a card from resources is a big deal. Number two aspect or part B of that is it will also have another resource that will be needed that's not crafted on land. And that in and of itself is going to be a pretty big deal. Again, all these are like things to open people's minds, right? To understand what's possible. So the land card deal is going to be a pretty big deal for that aspect, as well as it introduces abilities into land, like land specific abilities. So for instance, giving you the ability to get an extra 20% bonus if you pay a goblin or, something like that, right? Like it's a gamification of, a perk for something like land, which, is that exciting? To some people, yes. To some people, no. But again, it's going to definitely appeal to some people. Some of the other things that we're working on are, I'm heavily focused on making sure that we create new and cool things that aren't SPS related, primarily cards, but other things as well. And that, to me, is a big thing to systemically change the way people think, because you're already starting to see it in the Twitter sphere. Like, people, I think Bulldog's bringing it up, and there's, like, debate about it. But, if we only rely on SPS and that's the only reason to be here, then if SPS ran out, then, in theory, our game would go out of business. But then there was a period of time for a long time that I was here for many years where we didn't have SPS. And it was like, how do we survive then when we didn't have SPS? And, there was a reason, because people earned things. And at that time there was cards. So, focusing on non-SPS type rewards is a big deal as well. Not that I don't want to do SPS. I got a lot of SPS.
What do you think about Bitcoin? When the Bitcoin argument has been coming up again and again and again, what do you think about integrating Bitcoin into the SPL ecosystem?
I think it's let me think how to put this. Again, people treat things binary, right? So I say to myself, all right, if somebody said, hey, why don't we sell $5,000 worth of our assets and go buy $5,000 worth of Bitcoin and put it, as a reward somehow, some way, like maybe just a Bitcoin jackpot or something like that. Like, I would say, okay, no problem, $5,000, no big deal. If somebody said, hey, let's put $5 million worth of the Dow money into Bitcoin, then I would say, how are we going to do that? Are we going to dump, our Splinterlands assets to do that? And then I would say, hell no. Like, I don't want to dump 5 million worth of assets to flip over to Bitcoin. So the point comes, how do you integrate it? And in my opinion, I love having Bitcoin. In fact, I've actually mapped out early in, when I first got here, one of the things I explored, and it's doable, by the way, where people can play and earn Bitcoin. So instead of earning SPS and Glint, you can still get the Glint, but we can automatically like make them be paid in Bitcoin if they want it, right? Like they could come in and say, hey, change my payment to whatever, and have a list of like 5 different things: Ethereum, Bitcoin, Base, USDC or SPS, and maybe even give them a bonus if they choose SPS, right? And at the end of the day, like that's actually doable, and I think would be really cool, because I would love to be able to market and be able to go to the world
and
say, hey, right,
oh my God,
come play Splinterlands and earn Bitcoin, or come play Splinterlands and earn Ethereum, right? Like I think from a marketing standpoint, that would be huge. Having said that, the negative aspect of it, it's not really a negative. It's just, are people going to care about earning, 10 cents worth of Bitcoin, right? Like I personally think it would, but when I asked a few people, they were like, like probably.
Well, you also have to scale that on the global level. Like one of the things I always liked going back, we've lost it now, but going back in the day was like spawn point equality. How can we help people? In disenfranchised parts of the world, people who are born into poverty and stuff. And for someone like that, being able to earn 10 cents in Bitcoin and looking at what that means in a couple of years down the road, that's pretty huge.
I think something like that is, you have to have like some rules around it so you make sense, right? Like if they earn 10 cents, they couldn't even withdraw them and pay the gas fees. So you have to like let it accumulate till it hits a certain number, right? But I do believe that from a marketing standpoint, it's huge, right? Because
it's huge.
Being able to go to people and say, hey, here's this game called Splinterlands. You go play it and you earn Bitcoin. Right? You go to the Bitcoin people and you tell them that, like, that's a big deal. Or you go to the people on Ethereum and say, hey, come over here and play Splinterlands, and you win Ethereum, right? Or you go to any of the others, the Luvium or any of these other ones, and say you can earn that token, right? It's actually not hard for us to do behind the scenes. It's just literally a swap function that happens it's like automatically you just have it preset. Right. So I, as a player,
they have all the wrapped Bitcoin, wrapped Ethereum, everything exists in Hive. There.
It's not hard to do. It's just, there's got to be enough, momentum for that. But do I like that? Absolutely. Do I like the idea of Level Up Life's idea on putting Bitcoin in the land? Absolutely. Right. Like, absolutely. I think it would be really, really cool if we had, Bitcoin that you could dig up on your land, right? Like you're digging up, like, how I look at it, like digging up. At least that's how I view my land, is every day I put guys on there and they're doing stuff, and I just consider them like digging up my land. And every so often a totem pops up, right? Like how cool would that be if, even less often, but still possible, that, X amount of a Bitcoin could pop up.
A whole Bitcoin pops up.
Oh God, that would be huge. But I'm just saying we're not there yet. But there could be something that pops up that's either Bitcoin or Ethereum or things like that. But the way to do that again is like people are focused on, let's take from this to give to that. And I think that's where we fail. Right? Like I don't think that's the solution. I think the solution is, like, let's set an objective. What do we want? Let's say we wanted to get a whole Bitcoin in our land, right? Like, let's say that was our goal, right? Then we would say, how do we get that, right? And if the answer is to sell something, I say, stop. Let's not sell stuff, right? But what else can we do to earn it, right? Can we make a card that's sellable just in Bitcoin, for instance? Yeah, we could do that, right? Like, There's nothing wrong with us coming out with a special card that was a Bitcoin card, and all the money that's paid for that card is paid in Bitcoin, right? And all that Bitcoin that's done goes into the, that objective thing that you have, right? Like put it in land, for instance, right? Like there's stuff like that we can do all the time in the future. Once you do it once, then it can be a thing. Maybe it's every quarter, maybe it's every month, maybe it's once a year, whatever, right? The point is, like, that's what I mean when I say I think we get bogged down when we try to say, hey, let's take our deck that's not doing anything. This is generally how the argument goes. Like, let's take that deck that's not doing anything for us and let's sell it and turn around and buy Bitcoin so we could, market to people. And I say that's the bad approach. Like, I have the same objective. Like, I'm fine with the Bitcoin part of it. I'm just not fine with the selling part of it. So can we eliminate that? Then the answer would be yes. I think it would. I think we would have a 90% vote for stuff like that. So I'm definitely pro doing it. In fact, going one step further, other than the Bitcoin and the Ethereum, I want to put a lot of stuff in land, for instance. Like, I would love to be able to go to, I wouldn't say competitors, but other games that, are like aligned with us in some way. How about they put some of their packs or spell books or whatever in our game, in our land, and let people like dig them up? Or how about they put them in our jackpots as jackpot prizes, right? Like, what better way for marketing if it's a friend, like, why would they not want our players to go play their game? Of course they want that. So they should give us stuff for that. And we should take that stuff they give us and give it back to the players. And then it becomes a win-win. Win-win-win, actually. Because it's good for Splinterlands, right? So what do you think about that, Mr. Walken? Do you agree?
I like the idea. I do agree with your general concept, Mr. David McCoy. I like where you're coming from, and I think the more we could integrate into our ecosystem from other games, ecosystems, and cryptos, the better off we're going to be in general.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Coming from somebody as highly respected as you, I appreciate that.
My pleasure.
So anyway, so the answer to is, yeah, I love the idea from a marketing standpoint. I absolutely love it.
So make it happen, Jimmy. Make it happen. Bam. Next week, Bitcoin. Next week, we got Bitcoin and Splinterlands. Bam.
Yeah.
This is one that's got to be a proposal, man.
If it were that easy, it would already have happened. But the part of the process is getting everybody moving in the same direction too. Like, once people have quit fighting the old battles and they start going, like, I'll give you an example of an old battle. Like, people come in and they feel like they have to put us down. Like, they have to make their point by ripping us up, like saying something like, this really sucks. If it doesn't change, I'm going to have to sell everything because I can't stand it, right? And if they say it mean enough and dirty enough and negative enough, they think it's going to get attention, right? And to some degree, it does get attention. But the problem is, it's not like the point that they were making, they could have literally just shot me a DM and said, hey, Dave, I got a problem with this, right? And I'd be like, what's the problem, right? And they tell me the problem. And I'd be like, either I agree with you or I don't agree with you. I mean, it'd be pretty simple.
That takes all the fun out of the trolling, though, Dave.
Yeah, but the problem, Jimmy, where that causes the problem is,
I'm not saying there's no problem. I'm just saying the motivation is literally to troll, and 9 times.
Right, but the problem, what happens is, I think it happens to everybody. Like, they get used to, like, the squeaky wheel gets the grease kind of thing. Like, they definitely, think that, like, that's the way to go. And really, all they got to do is just send a message like telling me, hey, do you know about this? Because it's really bothering me. Like, okay. But by doing it negatively, in the room, what they do is they force, like for instance, me to spend time going in there, explaining it. It's not like this stuff is easy, right? Like it takes time to reply to people. It takes time to have meetings about it. Like
AI, baby.
go
AI
right.
replies. You got to start freaking running in
AI,
there.
Yeah.
That was actually a brilliant recent South Park where the boys realized they could answer their girlfriend's texts with AI. And the girls who were getting the AI replies thought they had the most amazing romantic boyfriends. So maybe that's the answer, dude. Just when these guys tavern or troll and just do a quick little chat GPT reply, bam, done deal.
I'll tell you, AI is getting pretty amazing. Like I got a thing from Dingus, Captain Dingus, and he's working on putting together something.
He's working on his new back tattoo for the Black Foil Foundation.
Right. That's on his like on his free time, but he's spending his time, while he's not getting his back tattooed, he's spending his time to put together a plan for like card shops, like physical card shops, right? So putting together a way we can penetrate into that. And he's working up ideas. So I literally took his idea and I put it into AI yesterday. Just like it was a great idea. Like I'm working with him on it. So, he's got, like all kinds of pieces to it. It's like a 3 or 4 page document. And so I just feed it into AI and I'm like, can you make me a brochure on this? And that damn thing spit out like something that you would have thought I spent $20,000 at a marketing agency on. I mean, slick, to the point, well laid out. Like AI is this absolutely amazing what it can do, and it's just getting better each day. So I do plan on using AI to do a lot of that kind of stuff. But having said that, AI still can't replace the humans out, like, making stuff happen too. So guys like Jimmy out there making stuff happen.
Easily replaceable by computer.
You think? You
No.
really think that we could have the People's Guild show without you? I don't think so.
With all AI, we should do an AI version of the show at some point where it's just Dave is talking to AI versions of Jimmy and Jangles.
Oh
and
man,
we have that generic voice.
We've been some Zircon, excitement.
We got to get the Zircon Chocolate Babies video out there.
Yeah,
that's when we hit the 7-hour episode. We'll probably 24-hour marathon, baby.
That's actually a great idea.
Yes. Isn't that what we're going for tonight? We're almost there, right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
We're almost there.
I seriously, I mean, Jangles is kind of a whiz, right? Like, so he can pretty much figure out anything. So Jangles, can you just feed this into your AI and tell it to create the next show from this show and see what comes up?
I'll see what I can do. The audio stuff is hard. It's hard. I've tried doing similar for work. Just trying to make ads and get voiceover stuff. It doesn't feel as natural, and you certainly can't get random cameos from Christopher Walken or Ali G. That's going to be a tough ask, I think, for AI. But
should be able to. And actually, you should have AI give you a badass mustache.
I think what's funny is you're actually trying to answer the question seriously. That's pretty.
I mean, I've actually considered it. So the reason that I had a serious answer is I really want Gold Matters on this damn show. I really want Brave Tofu on this damn show, and they want to. Of course, I respect their wish to remain anonymous. So I was trying to think, like, is there a way that we could lean into AI to, like hologram Jimmy and Jangles into a chat with Gold Matters. Everything is done, not even remotely, just representations of us.
The voice changing app. where he talks like the guy from Saw or whatever. And, it's just bam. That'd be awesome.
Just teach him how to speak like Christopher Walken. We'll have Christopher Walken on.
A teenage girl, like just have them like be like teenage girls or something. So that way,
Dave, I'll let you pitch Gold Matters on acting like a teenage girl on the show. See if that's going to be the kick to get him on board. But no, I have looked into all of that
cultural
stuff.
relevance. Yeah, hitting the cultural relevance hotspots right there, Dave. Love it.
I mean, honestly, I don't think we're too far off from that being a reality. So.
You guys just, you just with the hologram idea, I think that's the next best thing. Like we're going to go from crypto gaming to holographic gaming. So we ought to like start planning for the future now, right? Like everything's going to be holographic at some point.
We had that on Star Wars.
I was just thinking of that chessboard. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you imagine Splinterlands in like, 5D or whatever that would be called? But yeah, that would be really cool. I
can't imagine that. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
I'd pay $10
kitchen
for
table
that.
game mode, baby. Yeah.
Yeah, baby. Holographic kitchen table game mode, baby. Yeah.
So, well, next you guys have to ask, do you think we'll have it done, by the end of the year?
And
definitely. The pace that we've given our track record, no doubt.
Tomorrow. All right, gentlemen. Let's get this. Let's put a bow on this thing. Dave, I want to take us out with. We talked about it a little bit yesterday with the TP guys. We got your. I don't know if anyone knows that the Rusty Android song is homage to Dave and his buddy Rusty. I will play that as our outro today. Splinter Vibes. Last comment. Splinter Vibes continues to pick up steam, and I don't listen as often as I have been. I'm kind of waiting for. I know that Blaze got a couple tracks loaded up on the Spotify. That's my primary source of music, but I do log in and check on stuff, see what songs are new, and some of the tracks have already passed 2,000 listens, and these things are getting comments from people outside of Splinterlands, and it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and we're just getting going on that. I mean, we still haven't got it. Like notice the music player, and if you are a thinking person, kind of like Jimmy. You're a thinking person, then you could probably figure out that, the Splinter Vibes and the music player and the game probably have some degree of connection. You would think.
I don't know if we ever could have put that one together, Dave.
Yeah, I know.
What sorcery is this?
That is some high level thinking there. So yeah, could be interesting, but yeah.
Fun stuff. All right, everybody. Jimmy, any final words, any final comments? I don't think we haven't squeezed in any mustache commentary today. Are you ready to break the streak?
I said AI would give you some killer mustache that we should make that happen. Okay. I made that in there. Had to do it. In there.
The streak is alive.
I was in a shop earlier this week, and I'll send you a photo of it. It was a bunch of glasses that had mustaches on them. So if you were drinking out of the glass, it could look like like painted on it. So
like a drinking glass. Got you.
Yeah. So if you're drinking out of this glass from the right side, it looked like you have a mustache. So
nice. Yeah.
Did you buy it?
I did not.
Let me share this with you guys before we're. There it is.
There you go. Jimmy G.
Yeah, it's uncanny, dude. You got to trim down your goatee a little bit, but
yeah,
and get a little more serious.
You gotta get the gold chain too.
The rings. Yeah, the rings and the chain.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're getting there,
I
though.
love it.
You're definitely getting there.
Jimmy G. Oh, that's funny.
Make sure that you point out the AZ that I think I passed him now, so you better have him on at some point to catch back up.
I think you're about to lap him, Dave. I think AZ. Yeah, he was invited to this, by the way. He'll probably tune in. I know he's doing some family vacay at the moment out somewhere in Europe. So invites there, AZ. Come back on, man. Cool. All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the show. We'll catch you guys here later in the week at Town Hall. When is Town Hall, Dave? Wednesday night?
11 o'clock. Well, not for us. For the Eastern time, it's 11 o'clock a.m.
Wednesday morning.
Yeah.
Wednesday morning. Okay.
So I guess your time at 11 p.m. So you might still be up. Even though you did go to bed early. You're like an old lady, but yeah. I get
it. we got the office closed this week. It's our standard quarterly closure, and I've been working a dog yesterday, today, so I'll take Thursday off to be there. Yeah, I'll stay up late.
You're gonna have to take your little wool, coat that you put on, like a blanket that you like cover yourself as you're sitting in the rocker. You're gonna have to take that off.
In the rocker.
Yeah. The Mr. Rogers sweater.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh shit, man. Yeah, I'll set the old lady habits aside for the sake of being at the town hall day.
There you go.
Old lady with a mustache.
Yo. All right, everybody. Yep. Catch you at Town Hall. We'll see you next week for another episode. In the meantime, you have been listening to
Chocolate Babies.
What?
The People's Guild. What?
We gotta rave. Rusty's gears grinding. Dave starts to groove. Let's get funky. I'll show you the moves. Beat, bop, boom. The connection's tight. Friendship ignites in that glowing blue light. Rusty and Dave. Oh, they're taking the stage. Funky Alliance. Cruise on the rage. Clanking and dancing. Unstoppable flow. In the Splinterlands, where the funk must go. Rusty's got rhythm, though his bolts are loose. Dave grabs the bass, lays down the juice. Yo, Dave, Rusty says, I'm learning your slang. Dave replies, bro,